Good afternoon, good evening, and good day. Good morning to those of you on the West Coast. Bear with me. I am dealing with every time I try to go live, Google thinks somebody's hacking my account. It's me. Stand by. Oh boy. I don't need your recommendations. It's a Macintosh. I've had one for years now. Oh, uh, in our spaces, we've got Elon's alien slime pet. We're going to go ahead and invite her to be a co host. That way, the spaces can participate without slowing the flow on having to check people out and see if they're allowed to speak. Um, but because Google thinks I'm not supposed to be here, I need that working. Otherwise, half of our crew can't get in. Uh, as soon as I hit go live, like, hey, critical security. No, it's me. Let's see. I need to check the audio. I don't know if that's actually going to work or not. The video's still working, so probably. Check. Okay, that works. And now on X, we got a pink pill and a pink circle, and we should have a purple pill. Let's just click it on me. All right, we got the video there and the audio. Good. And I should be able to chat in that if we ever need it. And I'm just clicking on everybody, see if I'm purple as well. I guess I can't be two colors at once, can I? So click on me. And who knows what it is? But the video is working, so the audio should be working. Hey, Famous is here. Good morning. This is Famous in my phone. He does a 24-hour live space every Wednesday. And he sometimes has technical difficulties like this too. Okay, so I need to find a new window that you guys aren't in that I can tell Google that, yes, it is me on this computer. Unfortunately, our folks in the space don't get the benefit of my noise suppression that you guys get on the X stream and the live stream on YouTube. Like I said, bear with me real quick. Let's move this over to Gmail because that should kick me out. Till it's still me. Yeah, yeah. The thermostats can be broken too. Maybe I just need to de-Google my life. Then they'll never have to ask who I am. Yes, unlock. We've got a couple items lined up for you today um, on the stories, and they could get interesting, and then we'll see. And what I'm also hoping is that we'll find some nice side discussions because that will be fun to do. Okay, here we go. We've got there you go. That is Elon's alien slime pet over on X in the space. Introduce yourself if you don't mind.
I'm like, I just want to sit here and be quiet.
Oh, okay,
And
that's
then, of
fine.
course, we have Famous in here as well because he asked me when we start, and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Famous goes off by an hour.
Probably it's 1:10. I started super late today because all kinds of reasons. Okay, so Google believes I am who I say I am, so I can close this down. And I can close these. Yes,
Technical difficulties are so much fun.
they are. Okay, I found this window, and it's not at all what what was on the notebook, but it was related to some of the stuff we're talking about today. So I just pulled it up that way. It wasn't on the default page from the browser. It's just a whole bunch of just unrelated news. You need food? Yeah, I do need food. I didn't even eat yet, so hopefully I won't be munching in your guys' ears. No food? I don't need food? Who ate my food? The doctor? You did. Yeah, I saw. You eat more food? You wanna come say hi to everybody?
You were unmuted earlier, buddy. Do you want to say some things?
Hey, hi, how are you
Good
guys?
morning. Wanna wear your headphones?
Yeah, and
Do you want the red ones or the unicorn?
black one.
You don't have black ones. I have black ones.
Famous joins, and everyone who gets notifications on for him is now going to flood into here.
Excellent. Hopefully they like nerd stories. You want the red one or the unicorn?
Okay.
Okay. Here you go.
So
Yep.
Famous, I know you wanted to speak earlier, so I'll let you do that.
Okay, I just wanted to say hi. Hi, Casey.
Good morning.
Fun to join you in your space, man.
Yes.
Hey, Slimy, Onyx, Philly Jones, and Slapsky. And hey, let's see.
I can see the D.
What do you mean you can't see? Oh, you can't see them? They're on the space. They're voice only. And then if our one of our friends that want to jump into the screen room, they'll jump in. Marcus might be at a race already because the weather's warming up.
Hello, small person.
That's famous in my phone. You say good morning, Moto? Oh,
Hello.
what's what? Oh, can we put the broom down, please? Remember, the broom is for the floor. Okay. All right. So we have got this one is coming from the cool down, so it could be new. It could be the what?
Her handle.
Her handle?
Her handle. Her handle.
Oh, somebody had the hand up?
No, this handle. Her handle.
I don't see anybody with a hand up.
Yeah.
Or have
He's saying handle, the handle of the broom. I don't know.
maybe this handle.
Hello.
The handle.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
Good
Good
morning.
weekend.
Yeah, it was a
Morning,
good
morning.
weekend. This lady on the other screen with the phone? Yeah, she's not important to this. Just a lady on the picture. Let's actually cover her up with the notebook so we have our stories for the day. Whoops, the notebook is on a whole other screen today. And speaking of, let's turn the fan on in here because it is ridiculous. All right, so the Google is frozen. I think I can refresh it now that it knows who I am, if that doesn't kick us back out. X is definitely going strong. Google has us at like 2 frames a second. That's not healthy. But thankfully, it's a primarily audio show. Right. And sorry about the chatter in the background. My wife is listening to her news from her country.
I said
How are you? Can you tell me the streaming?
Say one more time, please.
How are you streaming to X using a particular service?
I'm streaming to X with I'm using Talk Studio, but sometimes I'll use Streamlabs version of what they call it. It used to be called OBS Streamlabs, but now it's Streamlabs Desktop, I believe they call it. And both of them will do it for me. And then
Was that pretty? Sorry to interrupt. Was that pretty easy to set up?
Oh, they make it very easy to set up. Yeah. Go ahead.
Because for me, I tried OBS and their default settings, and it just and then I went through. You had to make like a special thing with the Twitch backend, and it just I mean, not Twitch backend, the X backend.
Yeah.
For some reason, I couldn't get it up, but I didn't. Maybe I could have spent more time on it, but yeah, it's good to know that you got it up and running pretty quick.
Yeah. So the Streamlabs OBS is a little different. It's more of a commercial offering, so they have an interest to make it really easy. So I just did the authorization like you would with any X app, and it was Twitter at the time, and then it linked right in. And then the integration.
Did any backend fiddling with the like you had to set up a special thing with Twitch? I mean, with X, like where you have to set up a stream.
No, it just go live. The hard part for that one though was making sure that I didn't give it too much data because I was doing the YouTube stream in 4K, and it didn't like that. This is too much data. Because remember, when you upload a static video, they're like, "Hey, you don't need 1080. 720 is enough. Elon's a cheap bugger. Save our bill." And so I was giving them 4K, and they wanted 720. So that was what 8x more than they were anticipating. And so I had
It's
to
so
do.
cool though, like that you can run music, you can do everything,
Absolutely, yeah. And then the way I'm getting Spaces to work with the video and everything is I've got it going through my phone directly into the audio interface for these headphones and the microphone because it's got Bluetooth. And so I'm just Bluetooth to the phone and just have myself unmuted. What I do need to do, Famous has showed me this, I should probably go to X and join the space and mute it. Turn the volume down or something if it lets me do that without messing with the rest of everything else, just in case the phone decides to act wild. Last week, I didn't do this, and it dropped in the middle of the show, and I had to pick it back up.
Oh yeah, so
Hmm?
prevent the double to prevent echo or just like unnecessary
Yeah,
interference. Yeah.
yeah. I could do the audio from the computer, but I don't know how that will play. So I'm not ready to get that ambitious. I'll try it again later, some other time, but not right now because this one works.
Oh, I mean, it's a good test run.
Yeah.
You know.
So I'm gonna hit listen live, and you will hear echo at that point, and I will try to eliminate the echo. Yes, baby. Oh, you don't need that medicine, baby. You're not sick. That's for if you have fever. She brought in the children's Motrin. I hated that stuff. She loves it. All right, let's see. Listen live. Okay, it says
Hey,
reconnect.
Miss, how are you, man? Busy? Elon.
Yeah, somebody
I told you it would do that. Okay, so I don't know how Famous does it,
Okay.
but I think he just mutes his phone. But I'll need
That would be a great stinger. I thought that it was like a stinger sound.
that'd be cool. I need to get some. I've got the logo and everything. I need to get uh, Famous has got a good stinger. All right, so
that was by Dell. My
yes,
friend Dell
Dell.
made that.
Yes,
Yeah, Dell.
I guess I
you
could
know,
make that.
You guys have, yeah, we had a great conversation in the middle of the night once.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was awesome. All right, so for those of you on video, you notice I have a new backdrop. My green screen, I need to go bring it in from the living room, and it's finally cleaned up a little bit, so we can stop stubbing our toes on it. It's just kind of in the hallway. Robert says hi, and that's a wave emoji. Good morning, Robert. And Eddie says the little one is growing up. She sure is. Just under a month until the sister gets here. I say just under. It might be 1, 2, 3 weeks or less if she follows the trend of her sister. Um, if the doctor's right, then we're looking at 4 weeks on Monday. On Tuesday, sorry. But we'll see. Oh, that's cool.
I'm gonna.
Hmm?
Sorry to interrupt. I'm just gonna say I was just gonna mute up because I gotta focus on something, and I'll be back.
Cool, cool. Okay, let's go ahead and
Yeah.
hide the comments and get started. So the first story, like I said, was not on the plan, but it was a good way to set the browser, get us all together, get us straight. So Tesla announces plans for a new mega factory after record-breaking year. Here's what they're driving their success. And again, this is from the cool down, so it could be breaking news or it could be kind of like me, up to a week or two old. It says they put it out 14 hours ago. So let's see what they are talking about. So they've expanded Megapack access. Remember, the Megapack is their grid battery system, which is really awesome because it allows you to do your renewables. You can do hydro. You can do not hydro like the river, but like the hydro waves. You can do your wind. You can do solar, and you don't have to worry about is the wind blowing, is the sun shining, and it will help stabilize the grid even if you don't do any renewables. And with that stabilization, you're not putting as much stress on your peaker plants or your mainline plants, either nuclear or gas, because it can buffer that load. As we saw in South Australia, not only can it help stabilize everything, it can make you mad money to the point where remember that Elon bet this the power company in South Australia that hey, if we can't get this in 30 days, you get it for free, and they got it finished in what 28 days, even with all the different permits and regulations and everything. And so then they paid for it, and in well under a year, not only had it paid for itself, they were able to buy another installation. Uh, this is just incredible technology, and then unlike the peaker plants, would take a few minutes to actually do something. This one is reacts in microseconds because it's just a big battery and it's plugged into the grid. So let's see where they say this one is. See if it's one we've already talked about. Let's continue reading. This one is described for utilities. Two things. Okay, so this is the original California mega plant. Okay. Oh, thank you. My wife has brought me a lovely breakfast. I will try to minimize eating in your ear. Okay. What we've got here is declare 10,000 per year factory. Yeah, so they've got the one in Shanghai, which we talked about, the one in California, which we knew about. And then they've got the Cato Road facility, which is the test plant, which is also pretty cool. They only make product. I don't see a location. Do you guys? This is what I get for opening stuff that's not actually on the notebook. I have zero idea what they're talking about. New York City invading. Okay, so no, that's giant snails. The New York plant only makes the at the moment they make solar stuff and all of the superchargers. And as we know, later this year, the superchargers are going to upgrade to V4 native, which means they'll be able to handle up to. Oh, hold on. We've actually got news in the notebook on the V4 superchargers, so we'll combine all that together and talk about it at one time. I'm in the notebook now. Let me scroll up to the top, and we're going to be talking about first up. I was hoping we'd get more diverse stories at first, but remember, I do them in the order they come in, unless I get extra time to massage the order so they work together. I think we might have a recall today. I'll find out. All right, so this first one is on X, or no, not on X. It's on. Yeah, it isn't on X. It's an X article. It's interesting. I have a picture of Sawyer and have it going to Teslarati. Uh, they are two different stories, two completely different stories. So this one we talked about last week, I believe, where the Uber CEO says that uh, that the robotaxi is the way to go and that they can't get in yet. And I don't think they'll ever be able to get in because when I bought my car in 2018, there was a line down on there that I had to sign and acknowledge to that I would not use any of the autonomous features outside of the Tesla network. Joel says battery day was 4 to 5 years ago. That is crazy. That's a good point. It's a very good point, and I did not realize so much time has gone by. That's incredible. And Robert says he's listening on Twitter and watching on Facebook. There we go. And 01010 says hello, or says hi, but hello, good morning. Good to see you. And all right, so what
It's crazy
is that?
that it's been it's been the roaster was unveiled and the second generation roaster was unveiled in 2017.
That's right. So I feel for those people, right? I feel for those people who put $250,000 down and don't have anything to show for it. The only saving grace for them would be if the price goes up dramatically, and because they could have put that money anywhere and made something on it.
Some people get it for free though, because of referral codes.
Yeah, but we knew they were not going to be in the front of the line, so
No.
you got a free car, sit in line. So what was actually supposed to be here, and the reason I said that, I picture Sawyer was Sawyer said, breaking, Tesla will be launching a refreshed Model S and X later in 2025, according to Lars Moravi, VP of Vehicle Engineering. That was come from Slimy here. She had told us that in the middle of the last show that she had already listened to the podcast with what came of the interview with Ryan McCaffrey of Ride the Lightning, and I had a chance to listen to it, and it was informative. But so they're suggesting that there's going to be a new S and X later this year, uh, but I don't know if that's going to be a redesign or just another light tweak to it. The neighbors are looking at a house. Let's see. Just give it a minute. We'll get there. The upgrade a few years ago was bigger than most people thought in terms of architecture and structure. So we talked a little bit about this on the Tesla Life show as well as we did with this Uber situation here on the screen. So let's go on to something a little different. I'm going to talk about. We've got this one with Volvo. Volvo Penta is set to show off its new battery energy storage subsystem at Bauma in 2025. And so what we're seeing here is everybody is realizing that these grid batteries are mad money. We had the folks who were doing like the old Leaf and Volt recycling systems where they would take as the cars were taken out of use, they would assemble them and use them as backups for factories or something. But now we had Tesla had success with their power packs, the old version, the smaller ones, and then they came with Megapack V1, and now we're on Megapack V2 XL. There were other competitors, but the Chinese, they have a similar product. Nobody, I don't think, offers the integrated, just crane it in and plug it in option that they do. With the Chinese, you have your big grid, you bring it, big grid, your big battery, you bring it in, but then you need the powerhouse. You got to put next to it or beside it. So you got to do that. But functionally, if you can get it done in the same time at the same cost, the only difference there is how the repairability works and making sure you don't use cells with known fire problems, as we saw with the LG portion of the big uh, grid farm in California, what, a month ago now, month and a half. Because then you have a problem with you just invested billions of dollars and it's on fire. Uh, uh, but we talked about that. They were using the exact same cells or sorry, not the cells, the exact same manufacturer as all the electric cars that were having issues with fire because of poor workmanship on the batteries from a subsidiary of the LG conglomerate. Uh, so Volvo doesn't have that problem. They I haven't heard of any car fires from them other than wrecks and stuff. So their Penta is going to debut their latest modular and scalable battery energy storage system platform for the off-grid construction and mining industries at Balma's equipment show. And here's what you can expect. So there's going to be modular, and based on the sizing here, it's looking like it's going to be slightly bigger than the power packs. Maybe for those folks who don't need the Megapack 2 XL or the Chinese systems, because while the mega grid batteries are awesome, there's so much more space left in the market for other sizes and other companies to participate. Because that whole power pack situation, you could run a whole factory on what 3 or 4 power packs, and now we've got you've got smaller businesses can get by with like a half of one or one, depending on what they do. If it's just like an office, then obviously they don't need a full deal. If it's a smaller facility, like maybe a car shop or something, they might need a whole one. Timothy's in the house. Greetings, e-car and ebooks. Good to see you. Good to see you. So this is cool. We're gonna get to see more about this system at the Balma show. Let's see if they gave us any specs on this thing already. Uh, They say their new system will enable other OEMs and third-party system integrators to seamlessly deploy electric power to meet the ever-exceeding energy needs in construction and mining. Okay, so this is perfect because while you can run a megapack at these sites, and it only takes up 1 TEU, a 20-foot equivalent unit shipping container, they are not really. I mean, they work off grid, but they're not really meant for load and go situations. And so something that is designed to just be created in. There we go. So it's got a DC to DC unit that converts the voltage from the cube battery packs at 600 volts into a lower 24 volt for powering auxiliaries and portable offices. Okay, this works. And you might be asking why not 48 volts? Well, just like on the cars where everybody's at 12 volts, the heavy equipment and all of your like your solar interfaces, your inverters, they're still 24 volt on the construction site, and it's time. Let's go 48 volt. You get smaller cables and safer operation. And why 48? Because at 50, you have high voltage and you have different amount of safety precautions you got to worry about. And the equipment gets more expensive too. All right, so Felton launched a similar charge cube, although that's aimed at permanent but low paperwork deployments and for businesses. So yeah, so this is going to be a hot market going forward if you're into uh, speculation on these sorts of things. Because again, no stock advice, but it's something to look into if that's your jam. Anybody got anything to say about big batteries? Hang on, while I scarf this and reload the next thing.
I was sound the other day, and I was looking at one of the stations and actually saw inside the trees and the inside walls are actually fireworks. So if it does go back, then people are safe.
Exactly. That's why I'm surprised that LG situation got as bad as it did, and I'd like to see the post-mortem on it to see what went wrong, because Excuse me, because even they have some safeguards.
I've been trying to get the word out about audio,
Mhm.
fire disbursement. Basically, like you can use a low wattage speaker
Mhm.
to completely put out flames. It's pretty awesome.
Let's take a look at that. I was not aware. Fire sound and audio. Extinguishing fire, sound effects button. Audio fire disbursement. I don't want sound effects. I want putting out fires with. Did you get a company name on that?
It's actually just experimental. The internet kind of came up with it. So there's a lot of YouTube videos on it, but just like putting out fire with a speaker or putting out fire with audio or sound.
Oh, like this one here, this frequency sound test. The sound puts out fires. All right, let's take a look at one of these. That one's 51 seconds. That one's 8 minutes. Let's do the 51 seconds. And hope he doesn't have to.
If EVs can implement this into their like vehicles' audio systems, it would be revolutionary.
Yeah. Here, let's share this tab instead. Okay. And all right, so this is what looks to be a demonstration. He's got his frequency set up from his old iPad there, and he's got a speaker here and a small candle here. Let's hit play.
You can go test that in their backyard right now and share the video.
Wow. That's pretty darn cool. Okay, so now we're going to paste and go to here. Page is gone. Well, that's helpful. Well, what used to be there? Let's see, can I, what I can do is I can make a new post. Copy this, paste it in here. So you guys can at least see what I'm dealing with. Patrick's here. Patrick's in the house. All right, once his camera's ready, he can come on screen. Assuming he came in our usual way, he can control himself. If he,
Well,
there he
we're
is. Which one?
talking about like the redesigns between, or like the Model S and Model X redesign stuff that's going to be happening.
Yeah.
Apparently, they're saying that all Teslas from here on out are going to have light bars.
That makes sense.
So, kind of how that's going to see what that's going to look like on the X and X.
I think they'll make it look pretty good.
But that's just what I've read.
Mm-hmm.
So, we haven't talked about much.
Kind of their new design language. Makes sense.
Yeah, I didn't finish the Rogan show yet. I am at how far through that I am. Am I?
Finished it.
Well, there were so many long things to look at this week. I finished the one with Mr. Zelensky, the whole 50-minute deal, and I finished the. There was another one, the Red Lightning podcast, and then work's been busy.
Mm-hmm. And then Franz just went on a podcast.
I don't know. Franz?
Which one's that?
Tesla Fam episode 500 of the week podcast as Franz. Ride the Lightning just did a 500. Ride the Lightning just did a podcast with Franz.
Yeah, is that one? No, I listened to the one with Lars. I'll have to take a look at that one. Pretty cool. What's going on, babe?
In the purple pit.
Are you muted?
Oh, no. Talking to me? What's up?
Trick.
Hello. No, my audio cut out. I heard. Anyway, yeah. How's it going?
Pretty
just
well.
Thought I'd come hang out with you for a while.
Appreciate it. Yeah, Patrick's in the house. You notice I changed the font up a little bit, and I've got a new backdrop.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yeah, minimizing a certain individual's influence on the show for reasons such as what we've got on the screen here. So this post was deleted, but I copied what I saved in the notebook, and it was from Mendy Arasaki, and Mindy Mountain Girl. She had posted 2x and tagged Tesla. The superchargers in Los Gatos were vandalized with insulation foam. It's a mess. And so what happened was they sprayed inside the charge wand, and they sprayed inside the magic dock because it's a V4 site. V4. It's not a native V4. It's a V3 plus. So it's got V4 pedestals and handles, but not a V4 head. So obviously, if the thing's full of foam, you can't charge your car with it. And
yeah, this vandalism is ridiculous. I mean, this isn't hurting Elon Musk, the person that people are upset with. It's hurting EV drivers, and it's not even just Tesla drivers, because a lot of the network is open to other EVs. So this is people who are trying to drive electric, not pollute the atmosphere, and this is the crap they have to deal with. This is just wrong.
Exactly. Because this affects everybody but VinFast. And eventually VinFast will get on board too. Everybody up on superchargers. And what we at half of the nation, half of the signatories are have their equipment to charge now.
That's about they're already on or soon to be coming on. Yes.
Yep. And so this isn't just vandalism; it's kind of terrorism, really, because if you've got a doctor who has to go from the city to like a rural clinic, and now he can't do that, you got a problem.
Yep.
This isn't even the worst of what we've seen. We saw over near Patrick, and I've got some news on this. There was a pair of shootings at the building. They were shooting into the building wantonly, and the stores, while they may have normal business hours on the outside, on the inside they're run by a guy who wants to see you there 60, 80 hours a week. So the store's actually running probably about 20 hours a day, because after you go home, after they close up, there's a whole nother shift that comes in to do service.
Mm-hmm.
And then, again, on the other end, as a salesperson or whatever in front of house, you want to be ready for the customers to come in. So you got to come in a little bit early and set up. And maybe even earlier than that, because service opens before you do. And customers can just want service into the sales area in most of the locations. So
right.
If it's looking a mess, and somebody says something, you've got a Steve Jobs-esque boss, and you don't really want him to hear that the showroom was a mess. Just saying.
Well, like the only people who are getting Elon's attention with all this like protest crap are the people that are actually threatening his life. Like there's been 2 arrests in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because of it.
Yeah.
Those are the people who are getting his attention because, well, it sort of makes sense. They're threatening death threats.
Yeah. And so that.
Like he talked about the 2 maniacs that tried to kill him a year ago, maybe now.
Yeah,
he's released from prison and have ankle monitors.
He had shared one with Biden. The guy said he was going to get Biden and Elon, and basically whatever order he could get him in. And then he had another one this year, in addition to another additional one. This one promised that he was going to take out the VP and Elon. So it would have been bad with just the first one, but then when they hit number 2 of the government, they messed up. Secret Service doesn't play. So.
And there was one this week talking about how they wanted to kill and gut Elon and then carry his corpse down the street.
Oh man, some people are cray.
Their bail is like $500,000.
That's down. Okay, so we're going to cancel this because I don't really want to repost their post, because what happened after this was she posted this, and within 15 minutes, Tesla Charging had identified the charger and had sent a repair person en route. So they had spare handles and equipment to clean out the foam out of the ones that they had attached.
Cool.
Yeah. Now I can discard this, and Oh, yep. So here's Tesla charging status. So hopefully they didn't delete it when they saw they were replying to a dead post. I want to paste and go, please. No? Okay, there you go. The computer is fighting. Go ahead, Robert.
I was going to say that later those I saw a Tesla modified Model S to a wagon the other day, but I thought so I couldn't make sure that it was good. So you call it a wagon, you call it a state everywhere else, but
Yes.
it was the job to done on that. Tesla would make that possibility. A lot of people said they would like that.
That sounds interesting to me because we saw the Tesla hearses, and a station wagon would be sharp.
There's some pictures of it online, but I saw it in the flesh, but my phone died and I couldn't get the picture.
I understand.
It's green. It's green. It is.
Yeah, it's a flower pot. I 3D printed a vase for my wife before it was born, and she just handed it to me.
Cool.
You put some flowers in it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, get some flowers from outside, I guess. Yeah, so hopefully it shows up again in your travels and you can get us another in-the-person photo of it. So here's Tesla Charging's response. Posts 8A, 10A, and 10B have been disabled. Others are functional and will be fixed by tomorrow morning for our customers. Thank you for reporting in the app. And then somewhere in there they reported that it was actually faster than what Tesla had said. Sad that this is happening. Totally agree. The app needs another option. Damaged post or connector should be damaged or malfunctioning. I had a problem with one shutting off constantly. It's not damaged in my mind, but it's malfunctioning. I still click.
Yeah, that's a distinction without a difference. If you report it as damaged or non-functional, they're equivalent. It doesn't matter. It needs to be fixed, whatever, as long as they know it needs to be serviced.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
This is a new option. That wasn't there before. Last time I had to report one. Vandalism or graffiti. They move so fast.
Yeah. And this is awesome. This is what you want to see from a charging network. Has to be reliable. I told the story about traveling through Salem when I had to go to 3 different places and try 7 different chargers before I found an EVSE that worked. And that's just, this was not a Tesla vehicle. And you could go into PlugShare and see that some of these things had failures reported 6 months ago and they still hadn't been serviced.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So
Not
here
reliable.
we go. Tesla fixing stuff in 24 hours, as it should be.
That's what you'd expect, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see. Thank you for being so quick to resolve these issues. I charge this station at least 4 days a week. And sorry you have to work hard because of stupid people. We appreciate you. This is the person who made the original post and deleted it. As you can see at the top, deleted by the post author.
Mm-hmm.
And they're lucky it's me, because if I have one of these, I delete my post after you delete yours. If it's important enough, I'll preserve it and repost it. But
well, other good news where they denied some of the charging places before now. I went past and I saw the things where it said that they're going to be put there. So now where
oh, so they lost the government said no, and then they changed their mind and allowed them the permit.
Yeah,
that's nice. Okay, if people are going around disabling and tampering with gasoline pumps and stations, people might call it terrorism. I call it terrorism.
Yeah.
You know, vandals are worse, or the worst. Is a more type of. Okay, so now let's move on to the next one. We don't want to dwell in the negative, and we've got some more negative anyway. So let's. Apparently, I did have some time to massage. I don't want to post it here. I tried to post it on top of us. I need to post it on here. Apparently, I did massage it a little bit, and this one from Tesla Charging is appearing right after that one. So related, but not as bad. Here, they didn't stop you from traveling, but they did deface the equipment, which somebody has to pay for. And again, not the person they are arguing with. But that's not what I was doing this for. Scroll down a little bit, and we see that Tesla has responded to that. So it's a quote post to them. Tesla says, "We will press charges for vandalism at superchargers."
As they should.
Mm-hmm. Oh, my dad's calling. I'll have to call him back later. Okay, can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll press charges for vandalism at superchargers, and I guess I should text him back, let him know that I'm on the show. Do, 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 do.
Yeah, I wonder how much surveillance they have at supercharger locations.
That's what I was gonna say. Is they got all these cameras on the cars, and a lot of the sites
Mhm.
all have stuff hooked up, and they hooked up to Starlink, and
Right.
There we go. That message. And so they're hooked up to Starlink, and then they've got FSD, and they've been training it to do different stuff. So why not have it also do station surveillance while they're plugged in? Because they'll know exactly where you are. You're plugged in, and you're using their satellite. So
Mm-hmm. As long as you have data sharing enabled, then why not?
yeah, that part.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so change this back to the YouTube stream. Okay, YouTube's healthy still, and I think this is the right move because some of these people are not poor, and they can afford to pay for the damages that they've done. Like for example, I don't have this one in the show, but there was a one of the stores was taken over by protesters, and on their way in, they broke the door, and it was one of those nice fancy like mall doors, but it was all glass with a little bit of the lock at the bottom, and that's gonna be thousands of dollars just for that one side of the door, just for the door. Then you have to have somebody install it. You have to have the locksmith in to move the lock over, and if somebody comes in at a Porsche and is doing this, then they get a little bit of money, right? And they can pay for that versus a homeless guy off the street. You're not gonna get anything from him, but it's the principle of the matter is you can protest without damaging stuff or hurting people.
Exactly.
Yeah. Joel says that I traveled back from Boston and Tucson and back, and I didn't see any non-functional chargers. And that's what I love about this. They stay so on top of this that at the most on my last trip was 40 hours of driving, and I found 5 handles that didn't work. And this was after the holiday update, so the car told me, "Hey, don't park at these ones."
Mm-hmm.
5, 40 hours of driving. It's not
Wow.
a bad deal.
Right. And the nice thing about Tesla stations is that there's so many there that if a couple of them are down, you still have plenty. Unlike some of the others where there's 1 or 2, and if one's blocked and one's broke, you're just hosed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or one is blocked, one's broken, and one's got a guy who's been charged for hours and is just gone.
Yes. Yes.
Joel says it charged over 2,000 kilowatt hours with over 6,000 miles. Only complaint is, excuse me, I want more V3 and V4 chargers in the red states. I agree. The good thing is that they promised us more long cable stations, which means that they're
Mm-hmm.
going to have at least the V4 interface, even if they don't have a V4 backing it up. And I don't know that a V2 can drive that, so hopefully that means that they're replacing all the V2s with V3s
Right.
and V3 pluses and the V4s. Yeah.
Yep. I'm sure Tesla has a lot of data about where owners live and drive, and so if you want more and more red states, then they're going to have to sell a few more cars there. So Joel's got to convince some of his pals to buy some.
So we copy link, and the other cool part of that though is now that everybody's on board, just selling more EVs alone should do the trick.
Yes, right.
Or Teslas would do it faster. So this one is we're talking about Mercedes. So they've got you know that Toyota's been bragging about solid state batteries since what 2009 at the very latest.
Yeah, the solid state stuff has just been hyped for so long that I see these and I'm like, okay, talk is cheap. Show me the results, or I'm not interested. So
Exactly.
are they actually, out of the lab, finally on the road? Maybe this is worth reading.
Right. And what it was funny to me is this year and last year I've seen so many that were like commercialized and ready to go, and Toyota's still touting the same old sorry line about, oh, we'll have it soon, it'll be in the next 10 years. It's like the Chinese have it, now the Germans have it, the Japanese have it, the other Japanese that are not Toyota. What's the holdup, Toyota? I mean, other than that you don't want to do plugins. What's the holdup? So this one was amazing. Mercedes this one is coming soon, and what they've got is let's look at these stats. With the same battery size and same weight, the solid state chemistry delivered 25% more range on their prototype EQS. So what we'll
Awesome.
probably see is they'll do a couple of them that are literally just one for one, because they don't have to redo the suspension, the crash test, the calibration, any of that. So it'll last longer. It'll be more powerful. But then what we're going to see is they're either going to take more profit and put a smaller battery in, or they're going to lower the prices and put a smaller battery in. And even though it's getting smaller, it will still be able to go further, because you've got, with battery cars, you have the rocket equation still. Except it's even worse, the rocket equation, because as you lose charge, you're not getting lighter. you're still carrying it around. So it's a little bit worse than the rocket equation, because at least with the rocket, as you go, you've dumped the fuel out one end and you've gone the other direction. That's not happening with EV. It's just all one direction, and you stay the same weight.
Right, but like you said here, if the same size and weight can give you 25% more range, if they have determined what the right range was, they might not want to increase the range. So instead, they can make that battery pack 25% smaller, which in weighing 25% less, and then those have ripple effects throughout the car. If you can lower the battery weight by 25%, then you can put in a lighter suspension, which also lowers the weight. Now you have a lower weight vehicle, which means you can get more range. So maybe you can actually reduce the pack by 28% instead of just 25%. And again, that gets to their cost, and maybe the cost that they pass on. Like some of it'll go toward their profit, and some of it'll go towards a lower cost.
Exactly. And then you can put in less crash structure, because it's not having to fight itself as much. It's only fighting the external environment. And it just goes on. So the way that will work best is if they're going for, hey, our customers need 250 miles of range. That's what they told us. Here's our target. We're going to put a little bit extra for degradation, and then they can just keep cutting and cutting and cutting until they've cut so far that the range goes below it. Then they put back, and they're good to go. Or if they just,
and solid state, the degradation from the stuff
lower.
I've read should be much lower, and then you get to the point where doing vehicle to grid or vehicle to load is not a big problem, because so what, you can cycle the batteries. They're a 1,000,000-mile battery pack, which is not what we have today for most vehicles.
I lost Bluetooth. Let me get it reconnected. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, the vehicle to grid stuff is kind of interesting, or at least vehicle to load. I like all modern EVs should have outlets on them, just regular NEMA 15.5 or whatever. Especially the trucks. I mean, those are often at job sites, and you have tools and things you want to plug in. But even a car, if you want to do some tailgating or camping, and you want to, I don't know, some convenience, you can plug it in.
We're learning together with you.
Okay, there we go. I've got the Bluetooth back on. Sorry about that.
Cool.
When it rang, it disconnected the Bluetooth. I didn't realize it did that. Sorry about that. And I still got you, Patrick, right?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay, cool. Sorry about that, guys. So we were talking about what we can do with the smaller size battery with this solid state, which is really cool. And so that's only if they're going for target miles. But if they're going for, oh, good morning, Lee, good to see you, happy Sunday. If they're going for not just target miles, but instead if they're just going for a cost or size of the battery, then they could just say, hey, okay, we've got $1,000 for the battery. Here's what you get for $1,000 for the battery, and then at the manufacturing cost. And then that will just be like we have today, where it's just it gives you a rough ballpark range, and that range kind of tends to go up. But like Patrick was saying at the very beginning of this, eventually it gets to the point where you've got too much range, and they could cut back to keep it affordable, keep it profitable, etc. So let's see what this particular one, other than the 25%, they had some claims that I was interested in. So this one, like I said, it's going to be easiest just to plug it in and not have to change anything, especially for your early adopters who will pay the new price. They're talking 1,000 kilometers of charge.
Wow.
620 miles of charge.
Yeah, but that's on WLTP. But still, if you 70% of that for a US range, and that's still pretty great.
Yeah. We're talking getting about to have iron butt challenges in a car.
Yep.
For those who aren't aware, iron butt is a motorcycle ride where you've just gone so far that they say your butt's made of iron, because that was quite a ride. So solid state batteries have a long time, 25% compared to WLTP over the current for 50 plus, and you get a usable battery capacity of 118 kilowatt hours. WLTP is typically 22% higher than EPA, so that was a good rough ballpark there, Patrick. So they're expecting 527 miles, which is still. I don't drive that long because I got the kid, I got the wife, and then there's me.
Everybody, there's a bladder range limit.
So that's close to what the Lucid Air is doing with the NMC pack. That is incredible, and the Lucid is doing a lot of eccentric stuff. They're doing like high technology motors. They're using a lot of aerodynamics stuff that Mercedes just really isn't. They're not into that. So to get it for next to free is good. Brute force it.
Yeah, we've been seeing batteries improve by like 5 to 7% per year. So if this is real and does make it into production, a 25% jump is huge.
Exactly.
Especially when we've had all the compounding of the smaller years, because every year they do get better. Degradation improves, and the life of the batteries, the energy density. It's compared to 2016, we have significantly better battery packs today than we did back then.
Exactly. Yeah, because they're claiming that. They're saying that if you put this on a Lucid Air, you could see 40% more range. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Traditional lithium-ion pack uses a liquid electrolyte, and so this makes that into a solid. Semi-solid, we've got that running on the Neo ET7 and IML6. They're already equipped, and they consider those a hybrid battery solution, and they can deliver.
Does it say who makes the batteries, the cells they're using?
That's a good question. I know Mercedes isn't doing it.
Right.
Factorial's battery on the EQS. Okay, so it's Factorial. That's cool. They've been in this. Use the floating cell carrier. When the battery charges, the material expands, and when it discharges, it contracts. Sounds like a pouch battery when you say that.
Yeah, and it sounds like they're using silicon too. That's one of the things that the expansion can cause cracking and other problems, so you have to be very careful with it.
Yeah. And they've teamed up with Stellantis and Hyundai to develop solid-state cells. That's going to be just hilarious if Toyota started in 09, 04, whatever, bragging about this technology, and they're the last ones on the market with it.
Right, but again, press releases are easy. I want to see an actual product for sale before I. You can say, "Oh, it looks promising," and you
because so far it's been a time. All right, so Marty Kin says 25% more range is a joke. Really? Whose joke?
Yeah.
EV battery techniques are radically advanced. EVs to succeed at maybe 4 times a day. Okay, so this is
ignore this fool.
Today we have EVs that match the gas range. So.
Exactly. EVs are too heavy and minerals, blah blah blah. You don't know anything, Marty.
Yeah, talking about it needs to be as small and light as a 20-gallon tank of gas. That's not, the physics doesn't work that way. They need to charge in 5 minutes. Actually, they charge in 10. So what's your problem?
Right.
The gas 7.
And when it's plugged in your garage overnight, who cares how long it takes? It takes me 2 seconds to plug in. That's how long it takes.
Joel says I am more excited for sodium batteries than solid state. Feels like solids have proverbial carrot for EVs for a long while. Yes, and I don't know how much that is because of Toyota being excited or just the overall industry just saying, "Hey, it's the next big thing. Come get it." So yeah, sodium and other technologies like there's a sodium, and there was another one that was doing very promising, like the air batteries, except they need
Oh
to be
yeah.
able to be charged or swapped easily to get the air batteries working.
Yeah, there are some applications like hearing aids that are using lithium air technologies today, but those are small cells, but they work great there, and they just have not been able to scale them up to larger applications.
Yeah. Alright, so let's look at some FSD in China. It's not called FSD over there. They call it autopilot assist or something to that effect. Apparently, because FSD would not meet all of the requirements. So Tesla China has just officially started rolling out FSD for city navigation, and they're calling it City Autopilot. But similar to FSD for the city, for North America. Hopefully he translated this because I don't feel like going and getting it translated.
I think he did.
Yes, he did.
There
Okay.
we go.
Tesla's news 25/02/25. Software update, autopilot, self-driving OTA. So they still use hashtags. Autopilot, automatic assisted driving on urban roads, optimizing the existing navigate on autopilot assisted navigation function. Autopilot, automatic assisted driving on controlled roads, main roads where users enter and exit through ramp entrances and ramp exits, and urban roads will guide the vehicle to exit ramps. Okay, so that's navigate on autopilot, where you can use it on the highway, and it'll change between highways, and it'll take you off the highway. And so now they're adding in what we know as full FSD in the city streets. It will now, and you can tell that Tesla wrote this because this is exactly like this is a translate of what we had before, right? The navigation route identify traffic lights at intersections, go straight, turn right, go around, etc. It'll automatically change lanes according to speed on the route. And this is machine translation, so sorry about this. When the navigation route is not set, the optimal road will be selected. So this is just like ours. If you turn it on and you don't have a route set, it's just going to drive around town.
I have to say, FSD is getting really good. Yesterday, I was on the freeway, and my exit was coming up, and it started to get over into the right lane, but there was a car pulled over on the side, and they had their doors open, and it did. I was ready to take over, but it did exactly what I would have done, where instead of changing lanes, it stopped changing lanes, it passed that car, and then finished changing lanes, and I was like, that was very human-like and handled it really well. Gave them the space that they needed, but yet still had the turn signal on and made it clear that I was changing lanes. So yeah, I was super happy with that result of this is doing exactly in a safe way, the same way I would have done it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Mine had a situation where we pulled out, and then somebody was just going hella slow, and I was reaching for the turn signal, and it went around them, and then we put the signal on to get back where we needed to go, and they closed up traffic. They just boxed us out. So the car sped up, turned the blinker off, sped up, and there was an opening. So it turned the blinker back on and jumped in. I was like, oh, wow. I would have done that, but not in that amount of space.
It does have some California driving training. It might be a little more aggressive than some other regions.
So they're telling us about the driver monitoring. So cabin camera, cockpit camera above the rearview mirror can now determine whether the driver is paying attention and remind you to focus on the road through an alarm when the intelligent assisted driving system is activated. The cabin camera video is processed inside the vehicle. No one, including Tesla, has access to it. And this is important. I mean, yeah, they say that here, but in China, right now in your car is like your last safe place from the monitoring. And so they want to let you know that this is not being transmitted. One, because they're too cheap to do it. Two, to let you know that, we don't care what you're doing in the car. It's just a matter of the computer wants you to be paying attention to the road, which is good. And then they say that the map package has been updated to China 2025.8-15218, which is important because China has a scramble on their GPS coordinates, and you're not getting it descrambled without their permission. So, to have updated maps is good.
Yeah, this is cool to see FSD, or at least variations of it, rolling out in new regions.
Yeah,
that's a nice positive sign.
Yeah. All right, so then let's get over to our friends at Stellantis, since we were talking about them before, since they seem to have found some batteries, finally. Uh, this one isn't quite the one you'd expect. It's not the Ram Rev, the EV only one. This is the Ram Charger. I don't know why I came to here instead of the article, but whatever. We'll get to the article. I do that sometimes. Maybe I got it from the phone. Is it rolling? It's not rolling. So the Ram Rev is like a diesel train, but it's gas, and you've got a little V6 engine, like from a minivan, and it turns a generator and it recharges a battery. This battery is 92 kilowatt hours, so 2 kilowatt hours more than my Model S 90D purported to be, even though it was like a 88 kilowatt hour battery.
Right.
They rounded it up heavily. So this one actually only gives you 70 kilowatt hours of usable range. And people are like, what? Why? And so Inside EVs went ahead and headed off the question, and they gave you a hint that it's for towing. So basically what happens is it's like the old Volt with the mountain mode and
Yes.
and the BMW i3 Rex, which had the same situation where globally, I think you had a 2-gallon gas tank, and then in the States, you had a 1.5, 1.8, something like that, because the gas range needed to be smaller than the electric range to qualify for all the tax credits. So they just software cut off half your tank. And it worked, but it's weird. So they also had a mountain mode. If you knew you were about to be driving up steep hills and everything, you could push a button ahead of time so that the generator would kick in earlier, so that you didn't end up in the breakdown lane trying to climb mountains. And this truck is doing the same thing. But good gracious, 12 kilowatt hours for buffer?
22.
Or is it like, oh yeah, 22. I'm sorry, you're right. So is it like 5 for the EV buffer, and then the rest of it is for the towing? The reason you want to buffer in is one, so that you don't kill the battery, and 2, that if the customer does run out of charge, they can go just a little bit further and make it to a charge station. So
Right. Well, this has the range extender, so I mean, you could stop at any gas station. And I'm a fan of pure EVs, but there is a place in our current society for plug-in hybrids and things like this. If that's what it takes to get people over to using electric, then it's the gateway drug. I mean, they're going to try to say, hey, when this is running in pure EV mode, it's got so much torque and it does all these great things. Why do I have this gas part at all? And then 5 years from now or whatever, then you can have a pure electric replacement for it.
Yeah, that was me with the Volts. Like always 1 mile from home, turning the daggum engine, and the engine's not doing anything but warming up. So it's wasting 1 to 3 tablespoons of gas for what? Like turn it off and plug it in.
Right.
So I'm burning all these tablespoons of gas for nothing. Let me get rid of it.
Especially with a pack this big. I mean, it's going to be running in electric mode most of the time. And especially if you do plug it in.
Yeah. And that's what they want. They want to use this thing as it's an EV first and foremost.
Right.
The problem is pickup truck. And so if you're hauling heavy or if you're towing, right now hauling heavy is not bad. You can plug in for that no problem. I've hauled heavy in the X plenty of times. You just got to mind your acceleration and your braking to make sure that you're not going out of bounds. But where it really hurts is towing, because there's just nothing you can do about towing. So you've got a 91.
Yes, you can change select different modes, charge the battery, and then like so Prius. I saw those like change the mode and optimize the battery capacity yourself as well.
Yeah, we used to have EV mode on the Prius. So if you knew you were going into a neighborhood where that was best, you could manually tell it what to do, because their AI was not very good back in the day. So you're going to have a 91.8 kilowatt hour battery with 69.7 kilowatt hours being usable. Ram says this is to provide a consistent driving experience between EV driving and when the truck uses its gas engine. And this is important because I always used to describe my Volt, both of them, on their range extended mode. I would just call them fat Priuses because the performance was just terrible. They would do these nice, fun to drive, little sporty little things, and then when you ran out of juice, it's like boom. You just got slow and tired, and got this thrumming underneath the dash, like, "Grr." And everything was just
Mhm.
like it was a whole different car, and not in a good way.
Right.
Because again, it was a nice normal car, and then it went into Prius mode, but it was like Prius power in a much heavier car. So I call it Fat Prius. Yeah. So Ram doesn't want that because if you do Fat Prius in a truck while towing, people can be bringing these things back left and right.
Mhm.
So Ram says provides a consistent experience. The truck is also a heavy duty frame, and 8 lug wheel hubs to haul more weight compared to its ICE cousin. And that's what you want to see, is it taking advantage of all that torque you've got on the EV.
Mhm.
So let's see. 22 kilowatts of buffer. Turns out it's for towing. The battery is just one part of the pie. So he's talking about the Bolt and the i3 Rex, just like we just did. Same
Yeah.
situation.
Mhm.
So like me and Mark, we're used to the E-Rev, and Patrick just went whole hog and said, "Yeah, let's do a pickup truck." And he did.
Yep.
15 volts, occasionally heavy acceleration. Yes. And it's to the point where if you didn't do mountain mode and you ran out of charge and you tried to climb a mountain, you were in the breakdown lane. We're talking like 40 miles an hour at the most.
Mm.
And unlike the Volt and the various Priuses that have plugs, the Ram Rev it doesn't have the planetary set to be able to put out power to the wheels. At least that's what they've said. Let's look at this diagram and see if they changed it at the last minute like everybody else does. Electric drive module, battery pack, electric drive module, 4-wheel drive, generator, GPM. Yeah, so yeah, they have not done the crutch. They've done what the i3 Rex did. And so
Mhm.
you've got engine into generator, and that's it. You're not seeing my mouse, which means it doesn't have. There we go. Engine to generator. Then you've got front motor, rear motor. This is the way to do it. If you are what you say you are, as far as being extended range versus being just a hybrid of some sort. All right, so you got your fuel tank right in the back or on top of the battery. And you've got all your electronic modules. Okay, interesting. I am wondering now. Historically, plug-in hybrids have had a higher rate of fires than the rest. Will this reverse that trend? All right, so you got an 8-inch wider frame through the center section. So they didn't just reuse the truck frame. So this is a dedicated EV.
That's good.
Yeah. Because it also means that the battery will be safer than on a gas converted. It's interesting routing they've got there for the high voltage. Hopefully it's not a problem later. Okay. We're just looking at on the stream, looking at the skateboard that they've got here at the auto show. Wheel end disconnects front axle.
I don't know. I've been an early adopter of a lot of things, but for a plug-in hybrid, I think I would want to wait for the second model year just to see how the reliability is on them. Just because you have both systems, right? So you have all the things that could go wrong with an ICE plus all the things that could go wrong with an EV in one. It might be worth waiting for the second model year.
Yeah, just what we saw with Volt and others. It's not a bad decision unless you're another option obviously would be to lease it, because then it's their
Oh,
problem.
yeah.
Yeah.
Good idea.
I always love these little X-ray diagrams that they do.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay. Kuntz is really harped on the Goldilocks aspect of the truck. The Ramcharger's battery and the brand's focus on the EREV is a direct response to the political and economic state of the U.S. right now. I think more people would be willing to do a BEV if it was cheaper. Yeah, this does make it cheaper to do what you want to do with the truck. We thought that a few years ago that the battery pricing would be transitory. He said, referring to the idea that eventually Stellantis' battery would get to around $50 per kilowatt hour, and in turn bring the EV cost down. Well, you got Tesla, and who else was saying that their batteries were cheap?
I think they said below $100 a kilowatt hour
below
in
100.
final pack.
Yeah.
So they're not
Oh,
quite
GM.
to this $50 target yet.
No, not anywhere near 50.
Yeah.
At the end of 2024, they were around $115 per kilowatt hour. So GM and Tesla still have an advantage if everybody else is 115 and both of them are below 100.
I
think
don't know if they're talking about cell pack or pack price.
Right.
There is a delta between them.
That's what I was going to say. There is that Tesla, when their number slipped out, their number was for the whole pack, and
Right.
GM's number they were trying to hide it as well, but only because they were contractually obligated. Theirs was under 100 for the cell level, so their pack may still be slightly over 100, but those two are winning based on if that's the current market price, 115, and Tesla's at under 100 for full pack, and GM is at under 100 for loose cells. Because I bet you that 115 is still loose cells. Because it's it's a better number to throw out, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the RAM charger. The RAM rev, so far the latest we've heard about that is the long range is gone, and it's delayed. But be glad to tell you more as it comes. Good news for those of you with the Cybertruck. Like Patrick and Mark and I have been saying, you're going to get your adaptive headlights. I don't know why the company has been so cagey about it. Because now Cybertruck will get adaptive headlights. The company confirmed. It's probably just going to be a software update, hopefully. Tesla is ready to roll out their adaptive matrix headlights on the new Model Ys as the deliveries begin in March. Headlights use the external cameras to identify the vehicles in its direct line of vision, which in most vehicles would cause the high beams to cut off. However, certain pixels in the Tesla headlight will dim, keeping visibility for both the driver of the Tesla and the driver of other vehicles at a maximum. Here's a good example.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So you can see.
So I just got right.
Yeah. What they do for. Yeah, it tracks too. I didn't realize they did it for pedestrians. That is very thoughtful. So remember that that Robert's in Wales. So here he doesn't have the problem that we do, where we are big on all the other tech, but mirrors and headlights, we just because we were trying to screw Mr. Tucker over, something on mirrors and headlights because of it. Whereas you guys don't get all the cool tech we have with the compute and headlight, and not just the headlights, but the compute. And there's another item that we do that you guys are just like, what, really? But the compute for sure. So this is phenomenal. So as you can see on the screen here, we've got just a regular car with the high beams, and it's just across, and so you got to turn them all off, right? But then the car sees this other car coming on, so you see the little this dead spot right there, right? It's because it turned off the beam right there, and it's outside the range of the low beams, so it shows up as darkness because that's what it is.
Right. You don't want to blind oncoming traffic.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's about to get turned on in the States on the Model Y, and then now we know that it's also going to be Lars also confirmed that it's going to be turned on Cybertruck, and so folks were thinking, oh, maybe it doesn't have it because it's got these square inset little light situation, but if you look really close, it's inside the circles of the global headlights are they're rectangles. So fitting a rectangle in a easy. Yeah. So Lars says yes.
Very cool.
And now we know. So anyway, okay, so next up, might as well stay on the Cybertruck, and hopefully this article is still here. Tesla removed their own, so I don't know if Teslarati did as well. They got a couple of awards. Two of them for tech. We got first up is the Cybertruck steer-by-wire technology helped them get a Best of Tech award with, I believe it was Motor Trend. Cybertruck got a Best of Tech award from one automotive publication with a major shout out to one particular chassis feature that the company employed in a complete shift away from auto industry norms. Motor Trend, yeah, called Cybertruck Best Tech winner for its chassis technology, specifically the Electric Truck's unique steer-by-wire system. Motor Trend is highlighting the subtle reinvention of the wheel with the steer-by-wire system as making for a super responsive steering experience, being a somewhat large pickup. By completely removing the mechanical connection between the steering wheel and the front tires, Tesla fundamentally reimagined the rack and pinion steering of the auto industry. Spent nearly 100 years refining. Yep. And then there's the whole thing just on a lab rack, a lot smaller than a steering shaft. And then there's the part that actually does the work after you feed it the input.
I think the four-wheel steering is part of that as well. But they work together, obviously.
They do. So the write-up emphasizes the publication's initial skepticism towards non-traditional steering wheel column. Yeah, because remember, they're all like steering wheel, steering feel, steering lock to lock, this, that. And so, you know, just toss that on their head when they touch it. They're like, what? But they said by the time you get out of the parking lot, you're all over it. And for me, that was all the time I had on it was in a parking lot, because I immediately went to try their version of FSD, because the time I had with it was the latest. And so I wanted to try that more than I was interested in trying out the steering. Which,
I was the opposite. I did not use FSD at all in the Cybertruck because I wanted to drive it, and it was impressive how in the parking lot at low speed it handled differently than on the roads, but they both felt natural. I mean, it was like it kind of understood what you were trying to do, it seemed like.
Yeah. So parking is the blue line, city is the green line, and highway is the yellow line. So your hand wheel angle. I'm guessing that parking should have more of a curve to it because it can end up anywhere when you're parking. But when on the highway and in the city, you don't really move it all that much. The primary benefit of steer-by-wire, as previously detailed by Morrill, is
Lars, I think. Oh no, he's Moravi. That's not it.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
The Wes, Cybertruck engineer, is variable ratio steering, which is not new, variable ratio steering, but with this is infinitely variable, because you don't have like a set of gears that get closer together and further apart. You're like, he's clearly on the highway. Let's space these out. Oh, he's on the parking lot. Let's slam them together. Variable ratio steering, which can be set to virtually any sensitivity, unlike traditional steering column. Morrill detailed the benefit in a post on X last March. Steer-by-wire and modern power assist steering are both doing the majority of the work for the driver and can have the same responsiveness and road feedback. In fact, you could amplify the feedback if desired. That's true, because it's just a racing wheel. You can just force it to amplify the amount. Maybe you really want them to pay attention. Okay, so with that, Tesla released a video. So let's go over to youtube.com/Tesla, because they deleted their X post, and screw them for that. I had it in there, and they moved it, and they did not move it from YouTube. So here we go. It's not a short. There it is. Steer-by-wire is a genius game. Hopefully there's no music in this thing. It is Tesla, so let me get the M key ready.
I thought this was a pretty good example of the benefit of steer-by-wire.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no music. So steer-by-wire. They're going left, right, back to center. Quick. And now they got a Chevy, or Toyota. Yeah, it's Toyota. You can see how much more time it takes, and how much more wheel. Steering wheel job. Repeat it with both of them side by side.
Finishes in like a third of the time. He's still going.
I found the video on the Cybertruck account.
Oh, they moved it? That's probably why, because it was on the Tesla account at first.
And Tesla reposted it. But the Cybertruck account is the one who posted it. Because I see the two cars. Trucks, cars, whatever.
Yeah. I ended up a dead link, so I got mad at them for that. I went to YouTube.
Still there. It's still here on X.
Yeah.
They didn't touch.
Yeah, I mean, of course, Tesla stuff's going to be on X. I mean, that's
They need a better edit on X. I'll tell you what. All right, so again, about cars here. So, I mean, obviously we started with batteries, but 3 stories in a row. Grid batteries at that. Lennox, they actually made my air conditioner at this place. The Lennox has a new extreme cold heat pump that operates as low as -20 degrees Fahrenheit, and this is important because you'll have folks like Famous can tell you it's really cold where he is. You need to be able to heat in more temperatures, especially as the weather gets more extreme. And you don't want to go to heat strips because they are expensive. They just run kilowatts versus versus a much lighter load on your heat pump situation. And if you've got your own electric generation, like you've got solar or batteries, solar and batteries, hopefully at home, you can heat and cool your home with power you made at home versus having to import gas for a furnace. Or not that the wood is particularly bad for the environment if you're getting it from sustainable sources. The problem with wood is you've now got all of that particulate in your home, even if you're doing external boiler, because now you've got just all this the chemicals from the wood. You've got carbon dioxide, and then the other items from burning wood, and then you've got just all the soot particles that just get everywhere.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. Heat pumps have been getting so much better over the last decade. In the past, if you wanted something that worked in extreme temperatures, you had to do ground source heat pumps, and you can still do that, but it's air source is so much cheaper. But the problem was they couldn't handle these extreme temperatures. So the fact that now they're getting to they can go this low, that's great. And they've also switched the coolants that they're using now to much more environmentally friendly stuff, which is ironically in some cases CO2.
Yeah. People always ask me about is whenever a new car comes out, they're like, "Is that CO2 air conditioning?" I'm like, "I don't know. Let me find out." So Robert says it's 1C at the house now. Yikes! Well, summertime's coming though.
It's a little chilly.
Yeah, it's super chilly. So this one is using the new SEER rating so on the SEER 2, they got a 13.2 on their energy rating for the new system, and 10.5 for the seasonal performance factor 2 HSPF 2, and it's ultra quiet at 58 decibels. Plus, you usually put it on the back or side of the house where you don't have any windows anyway. So
Right, same place you'd have an air conditioner outside.
Exactly. The heating capacity is between 21,600 BTUH and 60,000 BTUH. And the cooling capacity is between 22,000 BTUH and 56,000 BTUH. So the heating and cooling are usually pretty well matched because basically for these heat pumps, all they do is just have a reversing valve. And so they just switch when it's hot and cold. Okay, let's see what's up. They got a first phase of the US DOE's residential cold climate heat pump. So as Patrick was saying with the ground source versus air source, is not only is it now cheaper to install these because now you're just dropping it in and plugging it in if you've got everything else that's compatible. You're also not having to dig any holes or trenches or for the you got 2 sets of ground loops that you can do if you're not doing one like in a lake or pond near the house. You can go deep like a well, or you can go wide, and both of those require labor and digging is not cheap. With this, just crane it in, and so it also expands the service area from other air source heat pumps because now it can handle more. So you can put it in more places. That should also then reduce the number of variations they need in their service area. Should reduce the cost of this unit as well because they can say, "Hey, we only need 2 units for this continent instead of 20." BCEB says it's great to see more options on the market for cold climate markets. Those dismayed at the EPA and DOE being completely captured by oil and gas industry, the biggest tool you have to fight back is to stop giving those companies money. Show them that you don't care that gas is cheap and just get electric anyway.
You know me, I want a future free from fossil fuels, so I totally I'm down with that comment.
Electrify all things, baby.
Uh-huh.
on energy efficiency, a home energy audit, and this is important even if you want to just go solar. If your home already exists, you want to reduce your consumption before you put the panels up, because every dollar you save today is probably a $3 to $5 that you save on your roof or out in the backyard, depending if you go ground or roof mount. And then if you get batteries, add another $3 to $5 savings, because batteries are expensive as heck. And so if you just need less of them, you can go longer, or again, you can get less batteries overall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you're in Oregon, the Energy Trust of Oregon will do a free home audit, and they'll even give you some LED bulbs and some other stuff for free. So if you're in the PGE or Northwest Natural Gas service area, then you qualify for that, and I absolutely recommend taking advantage of it.
Excellent. Yes. Thank you. Develop a long-term plan to electrify everything. Hey, electrify all things, baby.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to replace everything today, but build a plan so you don't have to purchase anything new. Devices powered by hydrocarbons. And so this is important right here. Is
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to do it all today. So if you know that you're going to cut out the all your bulbs and replace the windows and add insulation or any of that stuff, if it's on your plan, you don't have to size for that unless you're going off grid immediately. If you're going off grid, then you're going to have to overbuild. And at that point, I'd say do your stuff first and then put the solar, unless there's like an incentive or something that's causing you to do this now. Versus if you're on grid, you can flip that. You can get your panels first, you can get that major hit to your electric bill to go off, and then you can slowly change out the things as you're ready to watch the bill go down to zero, which is awesome.
Right. Yeah. And I would also be just keeping a little bit of an eye on the market and what's out there, because say your air conditioner goes out. Well, you might as well replace it with a heat pump, even if you have your existing furnace, because then you don't have to get rid of your furnace. You can run your heat pump for your air conditioning in the summer, and then for your heat in the winter. And if it's undersized for your house, well, then you have your furnace to take up that slack on the coldest days. And then your furnace gets used a lot less, and it's going to last a lot longer. And you won't be, depending on how a heat pump's always going to be more energy efficient than a furnace.
Yes, and especially if you're on one of those you're in the power band of the heat pump, like it's a mild day, because it's not always the coldest day of the year every day.
Yes.
It might be for a whole week, maybe even a whole month, depending on where you're at.
But that's a small fraction of the year.
So you can use those savings, especially if you've got solar or something that you can feed it with. But you can't go make your own gas. This is where the
right.
play. You can go cut your own trees, but they are a lot harder to integrate. And this is also another thing right here with the plan ahead. Some folks have a really just restrictive legal and power company situation. So you can only be X percentage of solar, right? So they'll do their energy audit, but then they'll get their panels installed before they do their reduction. So that way they can get closer to that zero outlay, because some of them are set up that you'll still have a power bill and not just the connection fee. They want you to have like $100 power bill or $50 power bill. All right, I can play your game, do my audit, don't do my installation, don't do my windows, put the panels on, and then do all that crap. Shoot, you beat us.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm finally paying electricity bills again. I haven't paid since July, and the 2 days I'm paying my first bill since July, and then when we get back to June or July, I'll go back to not having one. Just so that's kind of nice. What's that?
Just because the days are shorter and colder?
Yeah, and they do a lot more VPP events over the summer, and I get paid for those. So that's what's been carrying me forward all these months.
Nice. And so for where the VPP is on his power walls or any compatible system, if you've got excess, they can dispatch from your batteries to help stabilize the grid, rather than buying some of the big batteries we saw at the beginning of the show. They can just use all of their customers to do it, which actually is cheaper and is more beneficial, because now they don't have to worry about did the connection to the big battery break, because so what if we lost a neighborhood? We've only lost one neighborhood. We haven't lost all the batteries that we have. I'm not saying that the neighborhood's not important, but it does mean that the rest of the system isn't just kaput because of where the situation happened.
Right, and they don't have to spin up peaker plants, which are often diesel generators that are some of the dirtiest electricity on the grid. So I'd much rather have them dispatch batteries than do that.
Yeah, so I think the best approach for that would be to get a couple of those big batteries like we talked about, put them next to the power plant, just right there, or in the substations. And then instead of getting them all, don't get all the ones you need. You get all the major ones. So there's at least one on site at each of those places. And then as many as you can, have them at the customer site, because now you've got whole neighborhoods that are just regulating themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, Kacey. It's been fun hanging out. I got to go. It's noon. See ya.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right. You could also do like we saw with the Volvo. Huh?
So I've learned something about efficiency of these appliances that people are buying, and what the ratings, they don't realise it says the energy ratings, and then they don't realise that not don't last, but also they think they're getting the best stuff, price to typical rating, not the actual rating. So it's actually shows the actual wattage it's using. I was telling someone about it because he got stuff on the place. He wasn't saving the energy he thought he was. So it's to look out to find out what's good, so you're not using more energy, and also having to go out and buy new stuff because of the reliability.
Yeah.
You have to look into that.
Yeah, that's why you want to be able to either get independent research done on it, or if you're able to, like you said, plug in and check it yourself. Because some of it is marketing, and so you also have to look and see what's marketing and what is, regulated. Here are the numbers. Here's the standardized testing, and here's how it works. Because it may meet that, but if that isn't how you use it, like if it's only tested at 72 degrees Fahrenheit and inside, and you need to use it at 45 degrees Fahrenheit and outdoors, your stuff is going to be different. So the other thing I was going to say with that is that they have a combo of the VPP, the virtual power plants, and the packs is that'll allow them more flexibility. Then with the Volvo situation, perhaps they could get some of those mini packs in the neighborhoods rather than having to get as many big batteries, depending on cost, installation, all that. So number 3, the guy says source as much energy as possible from renewables. If that's possible, you can tell them where you want your power to come from. Sometimes for cost, sometimes for free. Obviously for free, then why not, right? He's just finished electrifying his life. It involved cutting some decent sized checks, but now I have $5,000 per year in 2024 dollars that I'm not spending on gasoline or utilities for as long as I live in this house. It's not quite as good as investing in the stock market, but the math isn't bad either. Also, it means that as they like to mess with the power prices, or the fuel prices, we already know doing this, but as they mess with the power prices, he's also insulated from that as well. And all that from the heat pump. Let's go to, turn your screen back on, guys. Let's go to, this one's from Electric. Tesla managed to buy themselves a bankrupt firm. This firm is going to be folded into Grumman Automotive, which was a automation facility that Tesla bought years ago in Germany. So this is going to be called Tesla Automation LLC, not LLC, Tesla Automation GmbH. So they acquired parts of a bankrupted automation engineering firm in Mainz-based Germany. It'll onboard 300 of their employees and some of their other stuff. They're a multinational engineering company active in the fields of automation, laser processing, metrology, and wet chemistry and roll-to-roll processing. Roll-to-roll processing, wet chemistry. They got to fold in the battery stuff, didn't they? The cool thing about it being bankrupt already is that they don't have to deal with, like they did before, with getting rid of any of the old customers. What's up, Anders? My mouse isn't mousing. What's up, Anders? There we go. Good evening. Yeah, so this is gonna be good for them. Mainz AG's insolvency administrator and the Tesla Automation GmbH, so there we go, there's the Grumman, has based in Prum, a subsidiary of the U.S. electric vehicle manufacturer Tesla Austin. I've signed a purchase agreement on 24 February of 25. Tesla Automation, which specializes in construction of special purpose machines at 3 German locations, intends to operate additional location in Reutlingen. I'm sorry. In the future, for this purpose, Tesla Automation will take over more than 300 employees at the Reutlingen site and acquire movable, tangible assets. Tesla's automation will also use the man's company property, uh, and the completion of the transaction will be subject to approval of the German Federal Cartel Office under merger control law. The insolvency estate will receive the proceeds of the sale, and the parties have agreed not to disclose the purchase price. So, for an undisclosed amount, Tesla has bought this other company, and they have a lot of support. They've already got Grumman Automotive for Tesla Automotive and Tesla Automation, and they've got Tesla Tool and Die out of Michigan, which used to be another one to make tools and stamping dies, and they just bring so much in house. Mans announced that Tesla will bring on board 300 employees, who I suspect will be gone by the end of the year, cut loose by Musk, lured away by companies that aren't run by and left on their own because they couldn't take the horrible management. That's the top comment. Say what you will, I know that there will be people who don't appreciate the new management, so we'll see how that goes. But others will appreciate the autonomy and the ability to participate in cool stuff. And we'll see what happens. Tesla's not onboarding all the employees from the specific Mans group. About 100 people are expected to lose their jobs. The 2 companies did not disclose the terms of the deal. This one doesn't feel as bad about the 100 employees because 100 employees not being kept is worse or is better than 400 employees being out on the street because they went bankrupt in the first place. So I suspect they will have done it better than Musk's typical 60% of Jack Welch's book, and then I can do this, fire a bunch of people without seeing what they do. I don't think it's going to be like Twitter or Tesla or the federal government because he's busy, and this should be more level-headed people doing the retentions. I'm not saying he doesn't work. I'm just saying that he is chaos. All right, so we talked about the adaptive headlights, so I can skip that one. And this one got destroyed. They deleted it. So we're going to go to me, x.com/gcustom. I don't know if the customer asked it to be removed or if he put it somewhere else or what, but that doesn't matter to me. Me, it was the story. Right, so it's multi-part. Bear with me. So let's go into this one I found from Test Calendar. They bought a Model 3 used, clean title, for just $3,989. So less than the price of some of these largest big screen TVs. Less than the price of the most powerful laptops you can buy today. Whole car. 2020 Model 3. Whole car. It can't even fit it in this window. And so this dual motor, long range, all-wheel drive for 217,000 miles on it. Complete service history in the comments below. And so Test Calendar's got the details on that. And I thought that was phenomenal. So then Roshan Thomas, I actually found this post after I found the original post. So Roshan Thomas said, what a miracle. The ultra-strong, hot-stamped door ring part of the body structure likely shielded the occupant from such a heavy impact. It was a costlier option when we introduced it in the Model 3 back in 2017, but we firmly believed that it was the right choice for the customer. For customer safety. And then they've got this picture of the ring, and they've got a link to the post that's gone now. So this ring, people were like, "Oh, well, they just started this on the Model Y. So what do you mean? What's new on, or what's new on the Model Y is that it's all one piece, and that's what's there. But on the Model 3, was using the hot stamping. That was new tech back then and expensive. So then he links to what was in this post. So the crash the crash was shared in a now deleted post, but the details are incredible. Tesla Model 3 was completely crushed by an out of control truck hauling oranges. Yet the driver survived with only minor injuries. First responders were shocked at how well the car held up, calling it one of the best performing vehicles they'd seen in a crash this severe. Tesla's structural engineering and safety features played a huge role in protecting the driver. After walking away from this wreck, they were so impressed that they chose to buy another Tesla. So here it is in the wreck yard. They had to cut the doors out to get the guy out. Minor injuries. Yeah. There it is from the other side. Just incredible. And there it is under the truck. The truck just keeled over on it, just like cow tipping. So they arrived on scene and thought they had to clean up, but there was a living person in there, and they got out with minor injuries. There it is from the other side. Like literally just barely taller than the wheel. Impressive. So then I went on to say, this is why, aside from the financial strain and other factors, that I am not planning on jumping on the bandwagon of people selling off their Teslas. The company still delivers on what I got behind over 8 years ago. And even if their front man is deeply flawed, he still has influence, for better or for worse. But Tesla's day-to-day operations don't hinge on him alone anymore. And the tech, the safety, and the mission stand independent of his extracurriculars. Also, Tesla hasn't paid him in about 10 years. So would I risk my family? Oh, I'll show him for doing whatever he's doing. That's not a smart or healthy protest to do it that way.
They do try to pay him. A judge blocks the pay package.
Right. So he hasn't been paid. So you're not hurting him by not buying the car. He's just not going to get the money.
You know, Tesla says he should be paid.
Mhm.
Everyone says he should be paid, but the judge is like, no, he didn't. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Right.
And AOC saying he was an engineer, and I'm like, how many rockets have you launched?
So with that, I mean, yeah, I'm not saying he's never going to get paid, but these little protests they're not affecting him in the least. And even if they did, he doesn't care. Somebody pointed out on another post I saw this morning, and I didn't think to save it. They said that the company should be more independent from whatever he's doing, and that they should. They wanted to do it like not really a counter protest, but they wanted to show that he's not the company, and he likes that post. And then somebody, the same person who put it, they shared that they got an Elon with the check mark, and that was him. He liked the idea of separating him from the company a little bit. I don't know if he knew what they were digging at. They meant something a little further, but at this point, he's a busy guy, so maybe he did see that and saw the implications and was fine with it. But either way, he's fine with a little bit of degrees of separation between him and the company, so that he can do what he wants to do or feels he needs to do, without people just getting all up in arms over
Well, let's just
things that
say
are not related. Oh, he's there again? Oh boy, yeah.
they're all together at Mar-a-Lago right now. They can do whatever they want, but he's having fun with Trump in Florida.
Exactly. So Aina Zarali, she says, Ina says, I wonder if the fact the car was on the grass versus the road didn't save their lives. The car seemed to have sunk into the dirt a little bit. Impressive anyway. Yeah, that might have also been part of it. He got stock compensation and sold shares worth billions to buy Twitter. He completely deserved it, but does not mean he wasn't paid. He's in the position to decide when to get paid by selling his shares. Stock compensation, he was already in line for, and then he burned it all buying X. and then when he bought X, he lost the level of control he wanted over the company. I wanted to keep the post shorter, so I didn't get into all of that. But
You couldn't have a $0 salary. It's like a $1 salary.
But then he sold his controlling share in the companies to buy Twitter. So on top of that, he that's why he was doing the whole same thing. He was complaining about the advertisers, like, blackmail me with money, will you? GFY. He then did that with XAI versus Tesla. So it's like, but the fact that he is having a tantrum over control tells you that he's not got the level of control he wants. So again, less reason to be, if you've got personal problems with him, less reason to be afraid of him with Tesla. And yes, they do also have a point that he is a little bit captured, or they are a little bit captured. He does still have friends, and they aren't always going to go against him. Let's see, copy link and paste. What is this one? Hopefully still there. Yeah, it's that same one. I wanted to make sure I had it in case something happened. And then boom, something did happen. The original post went bye-bye. All right, so this one, we were talking about the vandals, right? There's been an arrest. So I don't know if this one's the vandals or if this one is the shooter. Let's click into it. Hammer time. Loveland, Colorado. So no, this is a different one. This is the vandals. On Monday, February 24th, 2025, just before midnight, the Loveland Police Department arrested a 40-year-old Lucy Grace Nelson. The arrest was based on probable cause obtained through an extensive investigation started January 29th. The arrest comes after Loveland Tesla dealership or store was vandalized several times with incendiary device. Oh, this is the firebomber. This is the firebomber. On Monday, Nelson returned to Loveland Tesla while in possession of additional incendiary devices, along with materials attributed to vandalism. Detectives apprehended Nelson prior to further damage occurring. Nelson was booked into the Lanier Larimer County Jail on the following charges. CRS 18-12, 109, 4 explosives, incendiary devices used during felony class 2 felony. Criminal mischief of $2,000, less than $5,000 for business class 6 felony. Criminal attempt to commit class 3 felony, class 4 felony. Nelson's booking photo can be obtained through the records department of the Larimer County Sheriff's Office. The magistrate issued a $100,000 cash surety bond. The Loveland Police Department continues to work closely with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives, Denver's Field Division, with federal charges likely to follow. Anyone with information regarding this incident or Nelson, and whose alias includes Justin Thomas Nelson. Lucy here is the trans man, so that is what would be considered the dead name, Lucy, and Thomas Justin is the new name. They're asked to call the LPDT tip line at this number and Larimer County Crime Stoppers at this other number. The listed charges are merely an accusation. The defendant is presumed innocent until and unless proven guilty. And the purpose of this news release is to provide timely information to the public. The details contained in this release are based on preliminary information available at the time of drafting, and the Loveland Police Department's understanding of the incident may change as additional evidence is collected, analyzed, and reviewed. So, the fact that they are using the female name tells me that maybe this is not a official change, like is one of the self-identifiers get their own medicine, do their own thing, versus a medically legal change where they've gone with the doctor and they've got the assistants and they've done the surgeries, etc. This was more of the modern style, like, hey, I say I am, so I am, and here's my hormones. No comment on any of that part, but that is why the pictures and the names and the everything don't align. Is because this was a woman, and now they have testosterone. Moving on. Copy link, paste and go. So yeah, as I was saying, crime doesn't pay. Don't do vandalism. It's not worth it. This one here is very important as well. We keep saying that, when the car turns on and you turn on the features and it says, pay attention to the road, hold the wheel, this, that, and the other, do that. So there were a couple of crashes, and Tesla was able to argue that in the Florida crashes that they are not liable for the extra damages because the system was being used improperly. So pay attention when you're using autopilot, auto steer, FSD, Tesla City autopilot, whatever they call it in China. Yeah. So this was in a wrongful death case. And so what happens with these is the lawyers are going to just fan it out, and they're going to get everybody they can get that's tangentially related. So they definitely sued Tesla and the driver's family and the insurance company of them. They probably tried to get the highway patrolman, probably even down all the way to the person who made the locks on the doors for the car. Like, so if that didn't come from Tesla, if another company made it, they probably tried to get them too, just to see what sticks and where they get the money from. So don't let it be you. Sawyer had a comment on that. Tesla wins a ruling to limit damages in U.S. lawsuit over autopilot crash. And he used crash, not accident. Tesla convinced a Florida appeals court on Wednesday to limit the damages it could be forced to pay in a wrongful death lawsuit, accusing the company of misstating the capabilities on its car's autopilot system. The Fourth District Court of Appeal in Palm Beach overturned and opens a new tab on a judge's decision from 2023 that said a jury could award the punitive damages, but not not just the compensatory damages in the lawsuit filed by the estate of Jeremy Banner. So that judge restricted it back to where it would have normally been. So let's go get a little boring on you guys, right? I say boring. We're talking about digging holes, right? So boring through the earth, through the rock. The Boring Company. So we're looking at a housing project. What? Boring Company's loop-linked housing project. The Boring Company proposed a 5-story, 112-unit multifamily building with minimal parking, so 36 parking spaces for 112 families. What? Because it's going to be on the loop. So you don't need a car because you'll be able to loop everywhere around. Specs are to have 24 studios, 400 to 500 square feet, 68 one-bedroom units, 600 to 700 square feet, 20 two-bedroom units, 900 to 1,000 square feet, and there will be a fitness center, co-working space, and a rooftop deck. Zoning requires a change from C2, general commercial, to R4, high-density residential, with fee waivers for reduced parking and height increase from 45 to 65 feet, because people don't like low ceilings when they are at home. And the reduced parking is going to be so they don't need, X amount of parking spaces per household because they're trying to go carless. So the Clark County Planning Commission will review this on March 18th, and the County Commission will review it on April 2nd. It will be located on 4300 Paradise Road on the 1.5-acre site south of the Las Vegas Strip near Las Vegas Convention Center, and it will be part of the University Center Loop, connecting the Convention Center, Virgin Hotels, and UNLV. And eventually, when the tunnel gets down that far, it'll connect you to the airport. So this is going to be interesting. Disney kind of wanted something like this with Epcot. It was going to be a housing development, and you'd live in these high tech places, and you wouldn't need cars. And that never happened. But this, I guess there's the point over there. This could happen. Shut up and take my money. Yeah, the boring bricks. Yeah, what happened to them? I've seen a couple of them, but I haven't seen like you could go buy a pallet of them. I wonder if they're like saving up, and then you'll be able to buy them all at once. All right, so then we've got back to vandalism. Actually, I think this is the same person they just arrested. So let's take a look. Yeah, suspect linked to 4 Tesla store attacks, arrested with incendiary devices. So, yep, it's the same notice. According to Tim Doran, the chief of police, they arrested Lucy Grace Nelson, who also goes by the name Justin Thomas Nelson. Nelson is alleged to have been involved in 4 incidents at the Loveland Tesla location, so not just 2. The incidents were, I guess, only 2 firebombs. The incidents were reported on January 29th, February 2nd, February 7th, and then when they caught caught the person at see, it's a little tough because they're not saying what the person was going by. They give me 2 names, and the picture was tough to see. What is it called? Anyway, so that last one on the 24th. So that was the 4th one that they caught them in action. During the arrest Monday night, Nelson was found in the store location while in possession of additional incendiary devices, while also carrying materials attributed to vandalism. In a comment to Fox News, the police department information officer Chris Patchett noted that the messages left at the store were very offensive and derogatory in nature. And Nelson was processed at the Larimer jail and released on $100,000 bond. So only a fifth of what the one that Slimy was telling us about for the death threats. The police are working closely with the Bureau of ATF. Yep, we talked about ATF. And the incidents were not only unlawful, dangerous, unsettling, they also create an atmosphere of discomfort and worry. Those who work at the business, along with those living in the community, have had to deal with such concerns since the first incident on January 29th. Yes, because these are not usually done by professionals, so the risk of collateral damage is even higher than if like it would have been a demolitions expert or somebody who did this mess. Suspect fits the profile of electric counter. Oh, that would be more funny if it was all electric. Yep. So we're not gonna worry about that. Let's go ahead to Drive Tesla Canada also had it, or something related. So like I said, I do them as I get them, and if I remember, I can massage them. Okay, so there's the picture I was telling you guys about. This is the person, Nelson, Lucy, or Justin. Any further news on this? Court documents. Nelson scheduled for court appearance on March 7th at 8:30. And they're just out and about until then. Hopefully they are smart enough to not go back to any further Tesla facilities between their release and next week, because you want to really dig yourself a hole. You go back and keep up the mess. Let's get off of that. Let's go back to Westmoral. You guys, it's still winter, even though it might be warming up where you are. And one thing that happens in winter is if it snows, you got to get the road grime and salt off of the window, right? Some Cybertruck owners have been having difficulty doing that. So I've seen this not just on the Cybertruck, but especially on the Cybertruck. When you push the squirt button to get some wash of the window, Tesla was super efficient at it, and it only squirts on the upstroke because that's where the blades on the vehicles where the blades, the back of the blade arm, or like on my car where the blade is has the jets integrated into it. So mine and the Cybertruck do this, whereas the new or the new S and the Model 3 and the Y, they just have a squirter on the back of the wiper arm. But the X and the Cybertruck, the rubber blade has cuts in it that release the fluid. Now on these newer cars, not mine, on the newer cars, as you're holding down the squirt button, it's only doing squirt, wipe, and it's pulsing it. So as it's coming back, it's not still spraying, it's just a squirt as it's going up. That's not enough fluid for some of the grime that's been building up on these Cybertrucks. So what they've done is they've implemented a fix where if you just hold, well, I say hold, it doesn't have a stock, but well, yeah, it does actually have a button for wipe on the wheel. So if you hold down the button um, for more than 3 of those squirt wipe cycles, then it'll just go to dump, like is what you used to have when you had the. So you're holding it with this hand. It'll just go to dump like it used to have, and it'll just keep squirting, squirt, wipe the whole time until it's clean, which is good because now you can get the window clean. So let's look at how that transpired. Thanks for the feedback. Why does the Mega Wiper leave little streaks like this? Mine are equally bad right now. And this is what people were dealing with because it wasn't wiping it adequately. And so the salt and stuff would stick and build up, and then, yeah. And then from today, just a haze. A lack of fluid making it down the blade. Whether I'm stopped or driving it, it seems the same. It's getting the fluid, but it smears it everywhere. Looks like they're on it. Hopefully it solves the problem. So then Wes is replying to that one that was linked. Thanks for the feedback. If you hold the wash button through two cycles, squirt, wipe, and that's not enough, keep holding it. The wiper will now continuously soak the windshield, effectively doubling the amount of fluid dispensed. This helps with the stubborn road salt when needed, or bugs when needed, and maintains quick cleaning functionality for everyday use. So if you just have one small bug, you go squirt, and it's done. This is going out with over-the-air update 2025.2.8, which is being deployed to Wave 1 last night, and will soon go to the rest of the Cybertruck fleet. You will see it called out in the release notes. So to know that this has actually hit your truck, or any of the other cars that do this water saver, you'll see in the release notes when you've installed it, when you get back in the car the first time, or if you look in the app, it will call out this functionality with the wipers. Thank you so much, Wes. I'm really excited for this one. Anything else Cybertruck drivers should do besides cleaning the wiper blades, e.g. using WG-40 on the blade's rubber, blah, blah, blah. And Wes says, as with any wiper blade, just replace it when it wears out. You can buy a replacement at the mobile app or online at the accessory shop. In fact, I just got them done in November, December. Should probably get another set ordered just in case. I tend to go about 6 months per blade, the way that I have it. I had my truck 1 year, and I can't buy one from third-party sites like Bosch, Valero, or A&Co. Correct. Cybertruck and Model X have this problem. Nobody wants to sell them, even the people who made them. So you can only get them from Tesla. Why exactly? It's just a long wiper blade, not an octave valve or a door popper, because they're not used to making blades with holes in them. So it's a Tesla part. But I agree. It's not just a long blade. The actual blade part, the rubber strip that touches the glass, is much beefier than a standard wiper. That shouldn't stop them. Then there's the integrated washer fluid channel. That's what stops them every time. There's also a stabilizer that tucks into the wiper arm for stability. That shouldn't stop them either. It's the channel. You can't reuse that on other cars. Yeah, the same problem with the Mercedes. It has a similar situation, and I think there's a BMW or a Porsche. Same thing. You can only get it from the dealer. Not a great solution because it will cause fluid underneath the blade to be pushed at the bottom of the wipe on the highway speed, blah, blah, blah. And Wes says, well, the fluid only sprays from the driver's side. So it's not an issue. It won't get pushed under. After my 2,800-mile road trip to Seattle, Moab, and back, I find the washer fluid built up underneath the wiper blade after spraying enough to get the outer part of the wipe clean at highway speeds. Good for you. It obviously was enough for enough people that they put the software in. Another part of the solution is to redesign the blade to have better continuous pressure contact friction towards the tip or passenger side of the wipe, aka it's too limp. For mine, I've got just a spot right in front of the driver's eyes where there's not enough pressure, and I don't know if that's because my windshield has a little bit of imperfection there or what, but it's an 8-year-old windshield, so eventually it might get replaced. Hopefully, it won't have to get replaced. Let's see. Wes is the man. Thanks for looking out for us Cybertruck owners. We appreciate the feedback and constant updates. Any possibility to have the rear view camera stay on when I flick the blinkers? I really want to delete the side mirrors, but I need my rear view camera to stay. Wes says it's not me. Everyone who owns a part or firmware feature cares about our customer feedback. The people working across hardware and firmware for the wiper listened and came up with this and implemented, validated, and deployed it. I'm just giving you all the visibility. Right. Thanks a million. Love my cyber beast. Number 225. Wes, can you consider slowing down the speed of the wiper arm when washing? Wes says this would only further increase the amount of fluid dispensed out, but also block the visibility for longer, so it's less than ideal. Try this out and let us know if the problem is resolved. It worked on our vehicles in Quebec, Alaska, and other winter regions. So he's saying, hey, if we need more, we'll look at it some more, but try this first. Speaking of visibility and pedestrian safety, can we opt out of the wiper moving over for efficiency? It ends up blocking my view even under 30 miles per hour. The A-pillar is already hard enough to get around, to look around as it is. Thanks, Wes. So this is, the wiper kind of moves and wiggles purposely for aerodynamics, and he's saying that it's in his way. Okay, just saw a tweet come across from Drive Tesla Canada. It wasn't on the list, but it's sort of relevant. Wiper no wiping. All right, so this one from Drive Tesla Canada is reporting on the story of reduced deliveries. Tesla Model S and X delivery windows in Europe have jumped 45 months from July to August. Applies to both variants of both models. Same happened to Model Y deliveries ahead of the refresh. Oh, I was thinking of saying that sales were good, but this gives Darren is saying this gives us more weight to the idea of a redesigned S and X. Basically saying that this is the last window to pick up your current model S and X, and then that jump shows us that that's when the new one's going to be hitting the ground. Yeah, that sounds like fun. Lars Moravia hinted last week that the S and X refresh was coming before the end of the year. Yeah, let's do it. Sweet. And I don't need to put it in the notebook because there it is. We get it live. Live. Continuing on, let's go to the back to the notebook. And how are we doing out there in Spaceland? Okay, good.
Doing great.
So anybody excited for this new S and X?
I'm excited to see what it looks like.
Yes. I'm really hoping that they have self-presenting doors all around on the S instead of the door handles, because I know mine was old, but I went through 6 door handles on a car with 4 doors. Do the math. That's why when I saw the Cybertruck prototype and it had those door handles on it, I was like, ugh. I know they had been, making changes and improvements to it, but I also had an experience with them, and I was like, not feeling that again, because that's part of the appeal of the X. It doesn't have any door handles, so there's no door handles to break. All right, so this is not what I clicked on. I clicked on this. Like it just went up to the top. There we go. So I clicked on this. So I didn't cover this story last week because who cares? But there were 10 Cybertrucks donated to the LAPD. I'm sorry, not LAPD, the Las Vegas MPD. Las Vegas? Yeah, Las Vegas police to deploy donated Tesla Cybertruck fleet with SWAT unit. Is that really the best use to put up the SWAT? Patrol intercept? Whatever. So it turns out they figured out who actually donated them. Folks thought it was Elon, and I was like, that doesn't sound like him, unless these were the ones that were doing fire duty, and then Elon bought them and then donated them. But then it would say that Tesla donated them because it's how he rolls. But we found out that it's actually Ben Horowitz, co-founder of Silicon Valley's firm Andreessen Horowitz, and his wife were the donors of these vehicles. Oh no, what were people saying? No one is buying them, so they're giving away. He's going to pivot to an attack now. Seemed like a solid attack vector. Like, who's going to just buy up these bunch of head and donate them? Tesla just can't keep having good news. Except that's exactly what happened. Is somebody bought 10 cars and gave them away to the police department. No one gets a free Cybertruck. Elon said that long ago. That's also part of it. He won't give his mom a car, so why would he give the police department 10 of them either? Great point. XXXXXXXXX LFG Tesla. And what do we got here? Excuse me. So I promised you guys some V4 native Tesla news, right? Or V4 native supercharger news, right? So here we go. Exciting times ahead. V4 native superchargers. We've got sketches and diagrams. So Tesla superchargers are displacing gas pumps. This Tesla supercharger location in Florida is having several supercharger stalls replaced, displaced gas pumps. 8 gas pumps are going away and will be replaced with 8 of the 16 Tesla superchargers to be installed on site. 8 and 16? That could be several V4s or V3s, right? But based on what we're seeing in the documentation that was submitted to the government for approval, it's going to be 2 V4 native cabinets with 16 stalls, 8 each. So let's look at the rest of this real quick, and then we'll go in on the paperwork here. Makes you wonder about the future gas stations, auto parts stores. Wait, this could be V3. I've got stuff about V4, and it is line drawing, so bear with me. Interesting part about this is 8 pumps. Okay, yep. Permits have been pulled. No, this is a V4 or a V3 plus. Sorry. These is a V3 plus site, but it's replacing gas pumps, which is important. So now, hopefully, next is the V4 on my list. Otherwise, I got to go find it because I promised you V4. Nope, next is not V4. Next is Steak and Shake. So there are 500 Steak and Shake locations throughout the U.S., and they have committed 100 of the locations for superchargers. Now, the Auburn, Georgia, it's not Savannah. You look at my playlist, we'll see that there's I'll go do that with you guys. There is a Steak and Shake in Georgia that already hosts V. No, it was a V2, but it might be V3 now. No, it's V3. V3. I don't know. We'll look at the video. At the time, it was a newer, might have been 150 instead of 120. There's a Steak and Shake with a supercharger already there. So that's good news. Some AI thing in Grok. All right. Anyway, so let's go to me. To.com/Kacey Green. And then we'll mute my autoplay on Auto Park. Hey, look, it's us. For you. Not for me. I want the supercharger. Let's go to videos. Popular and oldest. I really need to edit some videos. I've got a whole bunch of them ready to go.
I wish I was still able to see you YouTubers. I got trouble with that. So at least I can see you on X and Facebook.
Definitely. What happened to your YouTube?
It just buffers or it doesn't play and then it takes me out. So that's why I basically I can upload stuff on there. Watch a lot of videos. Something's wrong.
Oh man.
I can't risk.
Oh, you want more chips? Okay, come here. She wants potato chips. Or Robert will call them crisps.
I don't go to eat today yet.
Yeah,
Well, not that.
it's important to eat.
After you finish your food, I might think about something. I was thinking about that. Gianna said she would the plastic cars. Just like that. Fish.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah, that's right. That was pretty cool stuff. The one on the X, right?
They said we also got other videos about it as well. So showing you some of the old classic things about electrified, the stuff.
Yeah, that is me.
What are you doing?
Well, I used to make a lot of videos about the car before you came along. Yeah.
Yeah.
Down? Bye bye. Just wiggled away. Auto park. We did a lot of software updates when we weren't squeezed out of the software updates. 55, 60 days between software updates. Springfield, FSD. Smart Summon, Pulvero. We're looking for Georgia here. I guess I could just type in Georgia, but I don't feel like doing that. Turkey Lake was fun. Jacksonville, West Sand Lake, always low. Greensboro, Hickory, Fayetteville, Florence, Raleigh, Rocky Mount. I still got some more of these to bring out. They're old now, but I got them. Myrtle Beach, Chatham. I need to sell that thing. I don't use it anymore. Deleted Supercharger was fun. Wallace, Back to the Future, Alpharetta, Buford, Athens. Should be right in here, one of these Georgia ones. Atlanta. I think this is it, the Peachtree Road. No, Peachtree is the mall. Augusta. There it is, right here. This is the one at the Steak and Shake. Yep. Okay, we're now approaching the maybe. I used to show you how to get to them because the navigation would turn off before you get there. That's a V2, not a 3. There it is, Steak and Shake. So that would be one of the first 150s I came across when they had first upgraded them to 150. In their parking lot. We did a little car camping on this one because we were out all day, but not for this video. We did the car camping on the way back. Eating all these potato chips, girl. Labeled. You want to do some more of these? We'll see. She really changed our supercharging routine. All right, so I need to put a pin in all the rest of the stories because I promised you guys V4 native. So here it is. And then go back. Want me to sleep in? Hmm? Okay. V4 cabinets, official specs. Let's look into these. I saved them too, just in case we had another presto poofo post. So the Tesla V4 cabinet, native, AC to DC power conversion as part of the supercharger system when deployed with the V4 supercharger post. They're saying it this way because you can also deploy it with the megacharger post and charge one Tesla Semi with this. Or 8 cars. All right, so it supports snacks, CCS1, CCS2, and the GB system for China. High power density, compact footprint, high efficiency, low noise cooling system, compliant with EVSE global standards. Global voltage input range, rugged enclosure for all environments, surface mounting wiring options, and high power factor and low harmonics. It's important. All right, so now let's look at the next one. We've got some drawings showing us the dimensions and the installation details for the site. So this one's got 4 fans compared to the 1 or 2 fans on the V2s and 3s. And it's very distinctive in the way it looks. He's cut off the bottom there. And then you've got your technical specifications. You got your efficiency is of greater than 96%. The noise at 1 meter and 30 degrees centigrade is 60 decibels. And environmental operating temperature for ingress protection is negative 30C to 50C. So that's negative 22 degrees Fahrenheit to 122 degrees Fahrenheit. It doesn't mean that it won't operate below that, but they didn't rate it for that. What's wrong with me? Hot? Did you hurt yourself with the chip? Or is it salty? Sour? You wanted the napkin? Here you go. They're not just regular potato chips, they're salt and vinegar. You need some of this? Throw it in the trash. Don't give it to me. Right there. There you go. So it's got quite a wide range of temperature operation, but I do suspect that at negative 30C to 50C, 22 to 21, 22, we might still have a Chicago situation if it gets down to negative 40. Thankfully, it doesn't usually get down to negative 40. Excuse me. The ingress protection for water is IP67 rated, so it's against splashes and dust. And the termination bay is IP54 NEMA 3R. That shouldn't be getting too much water ingress, so I guess it doesn't need to be as bad. But you get your standards, got your UL, CSA, FCC, ICES, EN. So it looks like they went ahead and got their ratings for all over the world, which is good. Max distance to the charge port is 100 meters, so 340 feet between the cabinet and the furthest parking spot. So these are not just going to be the prefabs. Otherwise, they wouldn't have rated it in such a way. Which is good to see. They'll still do custom installs, but you don't want customs to be the majority. This also means that at 100 meters that we might see the Megapack installs with remote charging, so they won't be right up on the post. That's pretty cool. Cabinet weight is a ton, 1,100 kilograms or 2,240 pounds. substantial. The depth, width, and the height are 1175, 1390, 1925 millimeters, or 46 and a quarter, 54 and 3/4, and 75 and 13/16. Service clearance, front, sides, rear, and top are 1525, 300, 300, and 300 millimeters, or you need 60 inches on the front and then 12 inches on the rest of the sides. For communication, you've got 4G LTE, so it has its own cell network connection, or Ethernet. And that's probably just using the same chips out of the car, so expect that to jump up to 5G by the time we actually start seeing these things, because they started to put 5G in the cars. And if they're using the same module, then it makes sense that would follow. The inter-cabinet connection is Ethernet. So I guess that's inside itself, because well, I guess it would be inter instead of intra. So they could connect to other cabinets with Ethernet as well, but they don't need to do power share like we see on V3 because they don't have the DC bus for that. The cabinet to the post is Tesla Custom Signal Bundle. Then we've got the rest of the technical specifications. You got your maximum current configuration is 1500 amps or 1200 amps. Get your input in volts AC. You get your power factor in kilovolt amps. So 480, 440, 415, 400, and 380 volts AC input. So this will work all the way from Japan all the way to everywhere else in the rest of the world. And why Japan? Because they have lower voltage than everybody else. Don't know why. AC voltage input is 380 volt AC to 480 volts AC, plus or minus. With a 5% variance, plus 10% for 3-phase 3-wire. 1500 amps or 1200 amps in, 50 hertz or 60 hertz. So that's everybody. Power factor is less than or equal to 0.99. These are going to be stout. Your max volt drop is 10 volts DC. Number of charge posts is 8 maximum. So that part stuck out to me, the 8 maximum, which means that we may still see partial sites. Like when V3 was first coming out, we saw a couple of 6 stall stations, and the V3 is a 4-post cabinet. So there were a bunch of cabinets that were just half filled. The conductor size, conductor material type is copper and aluminum. The conductor voltage rating is 1,000 volts, so this will be able to charge the Cybertruck, the Porsches, the Hyundais, and whoever else comes up with 1,000-volt charging at full speed. So the Hummer is interesting that it operates at 400 volts but can charge at 1,000. Everybody else's 1,000-volt car operates at 1,000 and can charge at 400. Just interesting. Manufacturer termination temp rating is 90C. Rated cables are required. Conductor voltage rating is 1,000. There we go. So this is the fact they have this means it's done, and it's probably imminent because the people who normally get this for us get it from the filings with the regulatory places, not the FCC and that, but the actual city councils. They're going to install it here. So that is phenomenal. Now let me charge my 2020 Model 3 SR Plus at 500 kilowatts, please. Titus, they don't want your car to catch fire. But what will happen is it will charge more consistently with the liquid immersed cables versus the liquid cooled cables. So on the V3, liquid cooling flows through the cable, etc. But on the V4, liquid cooling, and this is on the V3 Plus as well. Liquid cooling is that the cables are in the coolant, so it's that much more effective because everything is surrounded rather than just kind of touching it. Look at that. I wonder if these will be retrofitting any of the V3.5s or if they remain that way. This is Tesla, so I suspect what we're going to see is they'll do new sites and they'll start replacing V2.5s. So that's the V2 with the 150 upgrade, or they'll replace the V2 natives, which is the 120 kilowatts. And if there's any V1s left, them, I don't know that they're going to hit any of the urbans with these, because the urbans, part of their whole claim to fame is that they have smaller posts. And the V4 post is 4 times as big as a V1 post, or as a urban post. They'll have something to do for that, though, because those are a lot of old V2s and V2.5s doing the urban supercharger duty. Oh, that'd be a mess. They need to be adjusted, though, because like the one in the Savannah Airport, things always going out. The input range. All right, so now we've got from Electric, we've got a. Anybody want to say anything about the superchargers before we go? In the spaces or in the chat? All right, moving on. We've got the renewables generated 24.2% of the U.S. electricity in 2024, according to EIA data. Assuming that they don't delete the EIA data going forward. Thanks, Elon. Renewables increased their output by almost 10%, provided nearly a quarter of the U.S. electrical generation in 2024, according to the U.S. EIA, Energy Information Administration. Solar was still number one. For all the people saying it's wind, no, it was solar. Solar remained the U.S.'s fastest growing source of electricity in 2024. It's cheaper, it's solid state, it's easily understood, and you don't need like any high, many people rated for high altitude work, and it's just so much easier to understand. You can put it straight on the ground, you can put it on a building, or you can put it over some crops for agrivoltaics. And by crops, I do mean plants or goats, pigs, cows. Maybe not so much the cows. They like, grass, and grass likes direct sunlight. But strawberries, they don't like direct sunlight. So there you go. Utility scale solar, thermal, and photovoltaic expanded by 32%, while small scale solar increased by 15.3%. Together, solar was nearly 7%, or 6.91% of the U.S. electrical generation for the year. Small scale solar systems of less than a megawatt accounted for 27.9% of all solar generation and provided 1.9% of the U.S. electricity supply in 2024. In fact, small scale solar PV generates over 5 times more electricity than utility scale geothermal. And the electrical output of the U.S. wind farms in 2024 grew by 7.7% year over year. So look at that. Solar went up 7.7, and so did wind. Or solar went up about 7, and wind went up 7.7. Look at that. Wind remains the largest source of electrical generation among the renewables, according to 10.3% of the U.S. total. I mean, it makes sense because wind was the easiest single hit back in the day. Because if you're going to install it, you put up one wind tower versus acres of solar. But that's flipped. And now we've got a guy who's Don Quixote. He's afraid of windmills, so we can't find it very easy to get them installed. Between January and December, electrical generation by renewables grew 9.6%, according to this, compared to the same period the year before, nearly 3 times the growth rate of natural gas or methane, which went up 3.3%. So everything is eating coal's lunch, from methane to wind to solar, hydro, wind, the wave, hydro. What do they call the wave generation? Hydro. The waves. Wind and solar together produced 15.9% more electricity than coal and came close to matching nuclear's share of generation of 17.2% versus 17.8%. So if you combine those renewables with battery, they are just as fundamental as nuclear for our grid. They're just solid and stable and ready to go if you buffer them through battery. The mix of renewables reinforced their position as the second largest source of electrical generation behind only natural gas. Top comment by MRVC. Solar is by far the easiest to build out right now. It makes sense. Gas plants take 2 to 5 years. Nuclear, who knows, 10, 15, if you can get it done that fast. Wind, similar timeframes to gas. Yes. But unlike gas, Again, you need them acrobats to do your install. And then you got your cranes. Oh man, your cranes, they gotta get the blades on there. Some more cranes. Renewable energy sources now provide a quarter of the nation's electricity, according to the Sun Day campaign. That's SUN space DAY. The executive director, Ken Bossong. Consequently, the rash of efforts of the current administration to undermine wind, solar, and other renewables will have serious negative consequences for the nation's electricity supply and the economy. They're already harming the economy as it is. So, look for these numbers to drop significantly this year. Maybe not this year, but definitely by 2026. This year might already have been in place because assuming that's not something that Doge can touch, the money was already allocated and funded. So, don't hold your breath on this stuff for next year. But again, as I keep saying, no matter what the gas companies want us to think, this stuff is the right answer. It's going to save you money. It's going to last. The only way to undo that is to artificially do it with like taxes and fees and other bogus stuff. So unless those equal more than the savings or other cost offsets, then it's not going to happen. Because look at what Carson showed us last week on the Tesla Semi. It started. It's what did he say? It was Robert was there. How much was the savings on the Tesla Semi versus the or no? Famous was there. The savings on the Tesla Semi versus the Famous isn't in the room anymore. Tesla Semi versus the combustion was. I want to say he said 60 cents per mile. Significant. Da, 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 da. So you can save 60 cents. It doesn't matter what's going on with somebody being afraid of it. Your money's going to say just do it. So there's a Semi, and then we've got this final story of the electric school buses. You know I love my electric school buses, and I'm hoping these aren't the Lion Electric because the Lion Electric has some work to do. Compton, California unveiled 25 new electric school buses, the district's first, and 25 TELUS 180 kilowatt DC fast chargers. DC fast chargers are important because if you have less than the number of buses you need to be able to flip them back onto the road. The other reason they might be important is if you are going to do vehicle to grid, you need to be able to get the DC back out and get it converted at bulk. Otherwise, level 2 is perfectly fine if you're going to do your 2 runs a day, 4 runs a day, 6 runs a day, and park it overnight at the depot. As long as you're using the full 80 amp chargers, because you got a lot of batteries to charge. So these are Thomas built buses, so they're not the Lions. The Thomas built Type A and 8 Thomas built Type C electric buses on the road this spring. So 17 of the Type A and 8 Type C. Okay. Type A, I believe, is the big ones, and Type C should be the small ones, if I'm not mistaken. Awarded the funds for the vehicles programs for the first round. The EPA also awarded the CUSD funds for the third round of the program and anticipates introducing an additional 25 EV school buses in the future. I can't stress enough how vital these grants are like these and the need for continued support from our partners in government and state and federal level to fund additional grants for schools, school districts, and their transportation partners that are ready to deliver and operate zero emissions buses, said Tim Wertner, CEO of Durham School Services. CUSD, which serves Compton and parts of the cities of Carson and Los Angeles, currently serves more than 17,000 students at 36 sites. The district has a high school graduation rate of 93% and an 88% college acceptance rate. 1 in 11 children in the Los Angeles County have asthma, which makes the need for emissions-free school transportation that much more pressing. Yeah, because some of them are on the edge, and the diesel from the school bus doesn't help with not pushing them over the edge, especially when the kids are all at exhaust height. Good on them. So that ends our stories for the day. So let's go ahead We wanted to look at Robert. Robert showed us something, so let's go to x.com. And that ends the notebook for the week. Robert. Live. Oh, so Robert was showing us these classic cars. Show this tab instead. Oh, it went away entirely. Even though I said share this tab instead. So share it again. Screen. So electric classic cars are the ECC. They can help you convert classic cars like that Mini we just saw. And they've got some kits for you. They got the Mini, the VW Beetle, and the old Land Rover. What else they got? That's clever. They got the Mercedes SL. I've seen a couple of these done. The VW Camper, that's nice. Porsche 911, which is a bug, but faster and better looking. BMW E9 that car. The Ferrari Tesla Roadster. Roadster. Yes. The Porsche 914. The Fiat 500 Classic. VW Camper Synchro. Jensen Interceptor. And page 2. And that was DC fast charging. And the Aston Martin Vantage V8. There you go. Thanks for sharing that with us, Robert. Let's see, I got another message here. What do we got here? What's up there, Slimy? Ah, thank you, Slimy. She's got a Tesla Roddy post for us of. Can I copy the link? Not exactly, but I can do this. Click here, minimize the message, share this tab instead, and it didn't crash. There we go. Close that whole window entirely. Franz von Holzhausen said humans' desire for speed will never end. Talking about the Tesla Model S and Model X, Ryan McCaffrey said in response to there's always more performance, but that's what roadsters are for. Franz said, but why not bring that to other cars too? So you may have seen last night, CarWow did a multi-spectrum. They took the fastest version of every Tesla and raced them on a drag strip. Well, actually, it was a runway. They took the Model 3 Performance new, the Model Y Performance old. It's because there's no new Performance Model Y just yet. They took the two Plaids and the Cyber Beast, and they ran them against each other. And the results were surprising. I did not expect the Cybertruck to jump out his head as far as it did. It jumped out for a while and just held it. But
Watch that the CarWow video of them racing all three of them.
like the world's quietest drag race.
Like,
Yeah. Like
I'm shocked that the Plaids won almost every time. I'm like, yeah, no.
that was a given. Yeah, they were gone. But what I didn't expect was that the Plaid would, or the Beast, despite having less power and more weight, would be so far out in front of them for so long before it got gapped. Well, it makes sense though, because the Model Y is an older design of than the Model 3 Performance, and it's heavier, and they're the same car basically underneath. So, but what was surprising was on this particular run, the Model X kept beating the Model S, and they speculated that the Model S they borrowed from the Tesla store didn't have as high a charge as the Model X did. So when you have the same platform, even though the X is heavier and less aerodynamic, if it's just got more power on tap, then it can beat the lighter, sleeker car by a little bit. And it wasn't much. It was like they were both at 10 seconds on the quarter. So that was fun. Ryan's response, Franz said, why not the other cars too? And this is from this one from today, the new with Franz. I will listen to that right after this. In fact, let me.
It was funny. I was scrolling through X right now, and CarWow posted the race here on X, And they went, the Cyber Beast has no right getting off the line like that.
Yes.
Cybertruck responds, actually, yes, I have.
Well, when you think about it, it's going to be doing all that towing and stuff. So why not have a torque advantage? It's geared for, it has a lower top speed and everything. So why not do well at that part of a drag race? And so I need to go to YouTube.com.
Yeah. Cybertruck account just because it does so much personification.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
All right, I'll be loading that one up for after this. My new podcast. There it is, and the one for.
Can I find here? Is there any other good news here on X?
Yeah, right.
No,
No.
I can't get away from the Marla Go stuff.
Oh, it's all the bad news with politics. We try to hold off the politics.
It's right now and stuff because Elon's at Marla Go, so people are posting photos of him and that.
Yeah,
You
he's having fun, and maybe we can get better outcomes for everybody. I mean, because his mission is good, save money, right? I just wish.
shoot him.
Huh?
So no one also tries to shoot him at the same time.
Hopefully, there's none of that too. Yeah, but if they could save the money without being a chaos agent, that would be great. Because, like,
Elon he defines chaos. He is chaos.
but it doesn't need to be cruel. Like one guy said, he got fired 3 times in a row, and he showed us the receipts. So it wasn't even like he was making it up. He had email, you're fired. Oops, no, you're not. Yes, you are. No, you're not. And then a letter came in the mail, you're fired. Dude,
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. I don't know. I'd be an effective worker after that. And that's not all Elon. There's this guy, Vogt. His whole thing was he wants to traumatize the federal workers, and you can get the mission done without being a giant dick. So
Yeah. Elon's just bored.
I'm not saying that Elon's not necessarily taking it personal to do that. I'm saying the other guy is his whole thing of causing them mental distress. It's just, come on now. You can get the mission done without. Yeah, well, frying people's brains.
So cute.
Usually, yeah. Let's see. So
Every single one of his kids is insane. I'm like, oh my
was it 14 or 15?
14. They say 14.
All right, so he's trying to have his own field, right? You're gonna have yeah, have team A and team B, and then put them on the sports field together, right? Of course, that doesn't actually work because the oldest ones are like 20 and the youngest one's newborn. But still,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
He's not going to stop at this many. He's going to have a crap ton more.
Somebody suggested he might just be either an anonymous donor or just like take over a sperm bank or something. So speaking of babies, with
Me though.
with my little one approaching the end of the month, towards the end of the month, on this show, we made it within 30 minutes of we made it home within 30 minutes of the show after Moto was born. I don't know when the other one will happen. For the Tesla Life show, if she prevents us from going live, Mark and Patrick will record, and then we'll put it out. Or depending on when it all goes down, maybe I'll host from the phone, depending on, it's all up in the air. And as it gets closer, we'll know more. Got another doctor's appointment tomorrow, and we'll see from there. But for this show, since it's all live, we'll do something. But if it happens during the time of the show, I'm looking at the calendar over here. If it happens during the time of the show, just play it by ear. I might have a post on X and on YouTube saying what's going on. So if you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Twitch, there might not be a post. Look on X and YouTube.
Just other wishes.
No.
You were the way to with it. Oh my god. It's a boy, it's a girl.
It's a girl, but I'd like to stay married, and I'd like to, also we welcome in the little one and make sure she's healthy, and we'll do everything. But what would be ideal is the same as last time, where we leave out, uh, and then get back just in time. And then it was like after the Tesla show, and it was before this show, and then they said, "Okay, go home," and we made it there 30 minutes before. And in fact, it wouldn't even be that bad because this particular birthing center is a lot closer to this computer than the other one. The other one you had DC traffic to contend with, so we'll see. Ooh, we're not ready. We've got the car seat, and we haven't found the base to the car seat. But then I saw the instructions on the side that say that how to use it without the base. But if the kid falls asleep in the seat, then you have to reset to use it without base again. So we're going to be going through the room where we put the car seat when Moto upgraded to the toddler seat, and hopefully it sticks out like a sore thumb, and I can just set that in the car, cinch it down, click it in. Check the expiration date. It's got 2026 or 2027, so we won't need it by the time that it expires. It's weird that something made of plastic expires, right? But it's a safety thing and a rating and all that. So
Yeah, the biodegrading and the plastics gets brittle with the sun and it cracks and the same thing.
exactly. And then the formula people. Yes. Yeah. So the X has 4 positions that you can click an ISO seat in, and so we're using 1 now, so we're using 2 of the 4, and she'll get breast milk, but we're gonna go ahead and do it from a bottle this time, so that way you can kick them off to their own room a little faster. uh, and I don't know where the pumps are, so we're gonna have to. I don't think you can order them before they arrive on the insurance. We called the pediatrician early, and they said, "Okay, great, thanks to know, but we can't do anything till she's here." I was like, "Okay," but now and I know what to do. This is, I mean, it's overwhelming for the first one, but for the second one, it's like, oh, gotta rewind, gotta rethink what's going on here, and oof, it's a lot. It's still a lot. The only plus about it all, as far as the overwhelming and the planning and all that, is that it's only an incremental increase on your everything for a new one. If you got diapers, it's just a couple more diapers. You got food, it's only a little bit more food. The insurance, a little bit more.
So actually, different experience. You've got some things back at this.
Yeah.
So it's just like it's kind of fun. Don't watch it. You can follow what actually say, but just have duties and make sure she's doing well.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like my mum who worked, she did back to the work the next day.
Oh wow.
She was a ghost lady. She had me such 14 miles each way. And she called up my grandmother and said she was still okay to my grandmother. She said, "I'm still okay to my grandmother." And the best thing, it's like that. So extreme.
Like the maternity leave stuff. Yeah.
Maternity leave, no payments. She had to go back to work the next day. So yeah, don't worry about it. Just so think about how much she was carrying. She was carrying 40 kilos
of mail.
Strap 14 miles each way.
And the baby.
You
wow. Yeah, I don't think they'd allow that today. Yeah. Yeah. My wife was just at a restaurant and they like made her stop a month before. They're like, "Nope, you're done." I was like, if she wants to work, let her work. She's carrying trays. But
yeah, if you do too much, you lift too much, or things today, the damage you can cause.
Yeah, to
Today.
Yeah. Are you ready for your sister? She's smiling and laughing. She's been watching Big Sister videos lately. Not yet? She didn't come out yet. Oh, yeah, it's a picture of you as a baby. Big eyes, yes. What's up with your big eyes? Your big eyes? Yeah. Is she gonna look like you? You had blue eyes when you came out?
Yeah.
They turn gray and green, and then they turn brown.
And I have blue eye, and I say, "What's that? My
Well, these weren't your real eyes. These are the filter, but your real eyes were blue too when you came out.
what's that?
Yeah, that's when you came out. Yeah, it's your birthday picture.
What's that?
That's you.
What's that green?
I was saying how heavy you were. You were 6 pounds 7 ounces, or
Your eye pink and white.
eyes weren't pink. They don't have your grams on there. They have the grams on the other display.
Pink and purple.
My eyes are pink and purple?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah. And your sky's red.
Oh, my glass. Oh, the reflection off the glasses is turning in blue and pink and purple. Yeah,
And white.
and white because it's got the for those that are audio only, I've got a anti-reflective coating on the glasses, so there's a little blue hue to them. That's you. Your sister gonna look like that? Oh, look at that baby. It's you.
What's that? What I wear?
What are you wearing? You're wearing the whatever the name for the baby Yoda is called.
What's that?
It's a onesie. It was very comfortable. And that was mommy. That was you. That was mommy. Taking a picture. That'd be cute. It's a bridge.
You doing?
Christmas.
She doing?
Ride a bike.
What's that?
Date night.
What's
That's mommy playing with the wings in the car. That's a treat. We went to the mouse's house. After your sister comes at some point, we can go to the mouse's house for you. McMouse?
What's that?
That's a charger. Charging the car.
What's that?
It's an old telephone. You used to have to take them off of the hook and put it to your ear, and then you had another one you put to your mouth, and you could talk into it after you either ran it around a circle or called the operator.
What's that?
That's Chief Wiggum from The Simpsons at the mouse's house.
Yeah,
Doing?
I went to the phone. Just got there and got me.
What was A and B do?
He said,
One was the operator, one was to do what?
"It's one foot. You want you press one foot to the button to accept the charge, and it was to reject."
Oh, wow. Just the red and the green, basically. Wow.
And, he said, "When they bring up similar to you can show what it's around."
Yes. Doing? You're making faces. You still make faces today. Not like that though. That's a nice couch. Do you have the rocket launch on there? Where we went to the rocket launch? Your mom got your pictures all mixed up.
What's that?
That's your cousin.
Mm.
That's Marley.
Yeah.
Right there, Marty.
I was excited for the Starship launch tomorrow.
Oh, what time is it? Did we get that yet?
If I can check really, really quick. I believe we did. I think Elon said so today,
Yeah.
to be honest. That man posted way too much though.
Let's go to Tesla.
I'm pretty sure he has. So I think they're saying 5:30
Central.
Central
Okay.
and 6:30 Eastern.
Okay, that works.
5:48 p.m. it says for me though, and I'm in Eastern.
So,
So,
So they should be -6. So that would be what? You said 5:30 plus 6. That'd be 11 o'clock your time.
Because I can put the live stream in the purple pill,
Yeah, do that.
and I think it will say what time it would start for your time zone.
Okay. There you go.
This is 5:48 for me.
All right, so I want to thank everybody on the live stream for sticking with us today. We had a nice show. It was a little shorter than yesterday than last time. I will do clips from this show and clips from last show and put them on X. Now that I am monetized, I don't have to spend as much time on high volume posts that aren't actually relevant to what we talk about. I will still continue to do several others that are not related but are fun. You guys may have seen me on some of the posts about just like they call it the nice guys, guys who are not actually nice guys. um, it's just entertaining to comment on them and kind of keeps my head focused to make sure that I don't become a giant jerk as well. And so anyway, I'll put those posts out. I'll kind of trickle them out. Probably, I think that at my size, I'm allowed to do 6 a day before the system starts trying to hide me. So maybe do up to 4 or 5 of them a day, and then we'll just keep refining it, getting my follower count in balance. So basically, I've been looking through the last week or so. I've been looking for large accounts that have gone inactive because they are protesting Elon or whatever, and they've gone over to other networks, or found a surprising amount of people that just died that I'm still following. So I unfollowed them, and just looking for easy ways to bring the numbers in check because I don't want to unfollow people that I interact with, and I shouldn't have to because um, there's enough of those accounts that just that are not active that I should be able to get one to one at least with that, and then just add more people. Basically, what's happening there is once you get to the level I've brought the account to, they start to show you to less people if they think that you're a consumer instead of a producer. And since I am a creator, I need to make it know that I'm a creator and not a consumer. So it will show what I create to people. And I've seen the effect of that already. Like some of the stuff is just, it's logarithmic as well. So once I get above 60%, and it's one to one is above 60% as well. But I was way out of whack. I was like 3 to 1. And so it was just hiding the stuff from people. And you put a lot of work into it to have it hidden. Hmm? Say again?
This is what was only about getting the content out there and seeing
Say?
to keep the numbers up.
Yeah.
As I say, and I'll review the stuff, then just goes, just not no one seeing them. So I think what's the point?
Yours is in a better position than mine. You're not one to one. See, 1369 divided by 2267. You're just a hair over 60%. So I think you'd probably just lose like maybe 20 accounts and you'd probably be straight in line. So go in there and look for people who are not on X anymore and drop them.
That's the way. I tried to follow things, but then it's hard to get through scroll so far to so
Yeah.
so I will get to them when it comes.
Yeah, it makes it harder. There are some tools out there, but be careful what you let connect to your account. And also, oh, that reminds me about being careful what you connect to your account. Let's go to, I've already opened up what I need in a new window. Oh, I didn't. I just took oh yeah, I did open in a new tab, but I took over the X window for this. So it's x.com/gcustom. There is a new hack out there, so everybody needs to be careful with your X accounts. Not just X, but this one is X in particular. This one right here. It looks like a Google Calendar scheduling situation, and it sort of is. So I fell for one of the best scams I've ever seen on X. Here's what you need to do and know how to avoid it. Uh, so this is what it looks like. It looks legit because it is a legit request. What's not legit is it's not actually calendar.google.com. So uh, here's what you need to know and how to avoid it. On Thursday last week, I received a message about from Math at TechCrunch offering to do a podcast conversation about AI. I do a lot of media collaborations, so I thought this would be nice. Her profile looked normal with the TechCrunch article repost. So this is the DM. How you doing? I'm Marth. There is the TechCrunch reposts, but they're just reposts. They're not actually her post of her pushing the article to test TechCrunch. So she's not really a TechCrunch. I asked Mars to get in touch with my head of partnerships to schedule some time. She said, no, let's go ahead and get you scheduled up. He said, okay. And she sent the Google Calendar link. So here we go. We can see I'm Mars, blah, 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 blah. All right, good to connect with you. Our team would like to know about availability, see how we can make this work. Here's some of my times, blah, 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 blah. Kindly schedule a date on our calendar. Our team will reach out for further details. So it says calendar.google.com. And when he clicks it, it looks like a calendar link, which he has as normal, and it works. But there was an intermediary. So let's go on and look at that. Oh, you guys aren't even seeing what I'm showing. Sorry. Here we go. So it looks like a regular Google Calendar. And then we talked about, what they chatted about. Then there was a link. So automatically shortens, X automatically shortens links and DMs to a t.co link, which means that you need to have a URL expander handy to expand them back out. It hides the true URL. What's more is the styling of the URL card looks like it will take you to Google Calendar scheduling page. So that's their trick, is they made the preview look like the real thing. And because the links on X are t.cos instead of the whole thing, you should use the URL expander. And then you should have backed out when you got the permission request. So it looked normal. That's what he's saying here. This is a preview. And it gives you a t.co. So right click, copy link, URL expander. What the heck is this thing taking me to? Just in case. But clicking this was not the problem. And that it could be a problem in the future, depending on how sophisticated these people get. But here's where he said, oh, yeah, come on in. He took the Trojan horse, basically, and he clicked the link, and it took me to a page to enable authorization for Google Calendar. This was the crux of the scam. After clicking authorize app, it took me to a Calendly scheduling link. So boom, now it looks normal. I was none the wiser for what was about to happen. 5, loss of control. After scheduling the call, I had it in my diary as pre-discussion with pre-discussion. So that doesn't look right. Pre-discussion with pre-discussion, 30 minutes. View on Google Calendar. So because they didn't actually have it wasn't the real deal. So it dropped as if it was like a conference or something, but since they're scamming you, they didn't fill in all the details because they got to do it for everybody. And so they just have one, and this is the most generic they can make it with the dead link versus here's the conference, because it wasn't a real conference and it wasn't a real one-to-one. So they wanted the conference to look like a one-to-one. But yesterday my bio was updated without me. I was a little hesitant when I saw the invite, but I couldn't think much of it. Then he saw that his bio was messed up. So, bio update. Yesterday, my bio was updated. I knew the account had been compromised, but I didn't know how. That was until I went into the intro call for today and saw the calendar link was empty. So, again, they used the conference feature. Like, hey, we're going to have a broadcast. It's like the companies will use them to do meetings and stuff that they don't want to talk back. They want to get their thing out. It's a rah-rah session or an info dump, and then they're done. And there's a function for that, but they titled it such that it looked like it was a face-to-face conference where I'm going to talk to you, and we're going to sell and buy some widgets, or we're going to do performance review, etc., etc. So,
Slightly different to have I had to take the phone to fix fix hack through my Bluetooth through my headset. So I thought I hope I got some kind of headset I got. So someone from standing access to on my my headset was split into me and access my microphone and my camera on my phone. Absolutely. So I took it into town, fixed it. So I got to fix it. So they got in here through the developer software.
Yeah.
So it's not like you turned on here. So I guess the tells me to always turn it on. So I turned this off and on with it. And I took myself because to hear me and see me, I didn't know nothing about it until someone told me.
Yeah. The developer options, I use them because I develop software. But if you're not writing software, you probably shouldn't have it turned on. And worse than developer options is the root. Root is everything. Full control. You don't want anybody to get root. Not even you if you have zero need for it. So in the link for the calendar, Signa. Signa is, I believe, one of the coins, like a Bitcoin or whatever, but it's Signa coin. And the reply to wasn't to TechCrunch, wasn't to Gmail, wasn't to Google. Gibberish at duck.com. Now he's got alarm bells going off, right? I checked the center of the invite, immediate red flag. Realization. After seeing a blank call invite with no meeting link today, I connected the dots. They were able to update my bio after I authorized permission to an application that clearly was not Google Calendar. They were able to, it was not Google Calendar. I immediately removed the Google Calendar and connected app. And so what it was connecting to his Twitter. He wasn't allowing it to connect Calendly to Google Calendar. He was connecting Google Calendar to Twitter, to X. So now his connected apps are Vine, Instagram, Product Hunt, and Discord, which are the ones he wants. The reflections. This is the first time I've fallen for a scam of this kind. This was one of the most sophisticated account entries I've seen. I was able to hide the true URL and malicious intent, and it targeted me in a very personal way. And this isn't just an X thing. This could get you anywhere where you use these application authorizations. So you need to be very careful with where the actual source is, who the people are that they say they are. Yesterday there was a big one of these with the Microsoft accounts, and Microsoft closed the vector, I believe, for what these folks were doing. They were creating silent administrators that they couldn't do as much as a real administrator, but still enough to do some real damage and enough to create a new real administrator who could then take over your company's Office 365, Exchange, everything. Especially if you were partially in the cloud, they could take over parts of your actual infrastructure. Or if you were mostly in the cloud, they could really run amok with your Azure. And if you were multi, they could then pivot. If you don't have enough air gaps and such, they could then pivot from your Microsoft to your Google or Amazon or whoever. Reflections. Always verify who you're speaking with. Always verify the links and apps you're using and authorizing. Always have two-factor authorization enabled with an app or the dongles or anything that's not text message. Like right now, I just got a secure sign-in code for something. I didn't try to sign into anything, so let's see who's trying to get into my stuff. Oh, I know who this is. There's another person who thinks that my email is hers, and it never has been. And her kid likes to go on trips, and they like to go to hotels.com, and they like to try and use my hotels.com. I am not them. Once, I canceled a trip on the kid, and they're like, "Hey, here's your stuff," and I'm like, "That's not me." Canceled, and their kid probably had some trouble on their what was it, the Jewish exchange something or other trip, and it was canceled. Enter your password. No, I won't. So they think that my Google account is their Google account, but still, that has nothing to do with why every time I go live, that they think that I'm hacking myself. Anyway, speaking of, be careful, right? Let's go back to this. Make sure that you have the two-factor authentication with the with the app, or you can use passkeys. But all of this will still fail if you say, yes, let them in, if they're not who they say they are. So why would Google Calendar need access to X? That's a good question. And I'm hoping it's just because he was speeding through that. X needs to do a much better job on this flow, including setting a second factor auth for rarely connected apps. And hopefully people get clued in that something is weird is going on. Maybe. It's pretty good, granted, but why would Google Calendar or somebody else need access to your Twitter to be able to put in an entry? That should have been a red flag. Yeah. So they got him while he's distracted and in a hurry. So that's the other thing. Is anybody's trying to pressure you into like quickly say, hey, I'll call you tomorrow, or let's get back next week. And how they react to the frustration could tell you a thing or two. If they start cussing you, then you know, all right, I didn't want to interact with them anyway. If they try to put the high pressure sales on, well, this 30% is going to be gone tomorrow. Oh well, I like saving money, but I don't have time for this right now. That sort of thing. Marcus says that can't hear or understand them speaking on this end with the space. Uh-oh. The space isn't coming through again. Sorry about that. But anyway, like I was saying originally, I wanted to thank everybody for your time and watching this with me and then participating. And I want to thank our channel members and patrons. And like I said, with the baby stuff, it's all going to be a shakeup, but there'll be a post on X and YouTube if there's disruption to the schedule. As next week should be fine. The week after that should be fine, and then we get into crunch time to see if this one decides that she wants to come early, like the last one. Doctor swears up and down it's going to be April 1st. The other doctor was pretty sure, and Moto came early, so we will see. With that, I'm going to end the video, and we will go to just the space, and then I will probably shut down the space as well, so I can get some grub and help my wife out. So, catch you on the flip side over there on the video.